Yeah, I'm David Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Cornelius Robinson. We're out here to do a candlelight visual on behalf of my son, and also to bring light into other families who are going through similar situations. So thank you. I'm thanking everybody who's out here to support. We need to stand in solidarity to bring attention to this case and to make a statement.
Oh, I'll be your shelter, I'll be your armor. I hear you whisper underneath your breath. I hear your SOS, your SOS. I will send out an army to find you in the middle of the darkest night. It's true, I will rescue you. I will never stop marching to reach you in the middle of the hardest fight. It's true, I will rescue you.
Daniel Robinson went missing 4 months ago. This is the last photo his family has of him. He's a 24-year-old geologist, last seen leaving his job site in Buckeye, Arizona.
As the Gabby Petito homicide case garners national attention, another young person has been missing for nearly 3 months, and his family is desperate to find him. 24-year-old Daniel Robinson, a geologist, was last seen on the morning of June 23rd, leaving his work site in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona.
David Robinson had only one thought on his mind as he drove the nearly 1,800 miles from his South Carolina home to Phoenix.
I had to find my son, and I'm still searching for him. Thank you guys so much for joining in on this live this evening. I just want to say also thank you to everyone who came out on the search on the 12th. It meant a whole lot to me, and that's the reason why I have this live today, to talk about that, and as well as give you guys some updates on Daniel's case. Thank you again, you guys, everyone who did what you have done to either help me get in Arizona, to actually have been in the search, to passing out information, sharing Daniel's story. I can just go on and on and on. Everything played a part in this significant change in Daniel's case. So I'm here this evening to talk about that because it's very important that you guys hear it from me. A lot of it I did give out into the media, but I definitely want to give you guys some news and some updates of what's happening. But again, I just want to start off by saying thank you to everyone who's been out to the searches. I'm not gonna make this live really long. I always say that, and then I overdo it. And I talk. You guys already know I'm long-winded. I keep going for 2 hours or so, but I'm gonna try to make it short as possible, and try to get to some of the points that I really want to make. Again, I just want to start off with the chats. I'm going to start off with the chats first because I know that it's those who are in the chat are really conversating about some things, and I want to get some of those questions that you guys may have tonight. And after I give these news out, and also want to put up a little bit of people who actually joined. I wish I could show everybody again on Instagram. I will do that really quick. You guys can see your screen just lighting up over there. So I really want to let you know I can see you there. It's just unfortunate I can't put your comments and things like that on the screen. That makes it a little difficult for me. But you're there, and I see you there, and I want to say thank you guys for joining in on that Instagram side. So again, those who are on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, hope I ain't missing one. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Thank you so much for being here. I have Brooke. Thank you, Brooke, for being here this evening. Much love to you and your family always and forever. We love and miss you, Daniel. Thank you so much, Brooke, for that. I truly appreciate that love. Also, I have Maltese here. Thanks so much for being here, and thanks so much for your prayers. Duncan, thank you so much for being here off the YouTube side. I really appreciate it. Robin, thank you so much for being here. My heart breaks for you and your family. Thank you so much. Yes, I really appreciate you being in our corner. I truly appreciate it. Jamie, thanks so much for being here. Hello, I'm praying for you every day. Yes, thank you so much off the Facebook side. I need all the prayers I can get. My family need all the prayers we can get. Daniel need all the prayers he can get. So I definitely grateful for all the prayers that we're receiving. SG, thanks so much for being here on YouTube side. Aaron, thanks so much for always being here, almost everything you have done and do in the background. I truly appreciate it always. Thank you, Mary, again for being here. Greetings to you also on the YouTube side. Again, thank you so much, Aaron. I'm sending love and hope and endurance. Thanks so much. I really appreciate you. Also, Jamie, again, thank you so much for the hashtag Justice for Daniel. And I'm glad you mentioned that because that's what I'm going to be talking about tonight is why this effort to find Daniel is continuing, even after the news that I'm going to give you guys. Also, I have Tracy. Thank you so much. God bless you, David. I really appreciate that, Tracy. Thanks so much for always being there. Susan, thank you so much. Prayers from South Carolina. Thanks so much for being in the hometown. I'm right here in Columbia. So thank you. I really appreciate it from South Carolina from Twitter X. Also, let's see who else I have. Robin, thank you again. Prayers always. Thanks so much for your prayers. Have Cocoa Puff. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for the love off the YouTube side. Suzanne, thank you. I pray for you, Daniel, and your family. Thanks so much. We definitely need those prayers. Jamie, thank you so much for the Facebook side. I really appreciate it. God bless you. And let's see who I got here is Jess. Thank you for being here. Your strength is truly admirable. I really appreciate that. I can't begin to comprehend what you are going through. Please know that I think of Daniel and your family often. Thanks so much for thinking of us and praying for us. I truly appreciate that, Jess. Samantha, thank you so much for being here as well. Think of you and prayers from Boston. I have some family up in Boston, but thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Samantha, for your prayers. And thank you for coming in off the Facebook side. Jan, thank you so much for being here as well, praying for you and your family. We truly need those prayers. So thank you, everybody who showing the love that you guys have been showing. Those who on Instagram side were saying some of the same things there. I see you there, always thinking of you. Come from Daily Dose. I really appreciate you and many others. So I really thank you so much for just being here. Like I said, sharing this time with me. I promise I'm trying to make it really short. I can't get long with it again. I just want to point out some couple things to the Arizona Rangers. I want to start off there who came out to the search to help me. They've been in searches before. The Arizona Rangers helped me clear a couple mines. We went into some mines out there. Matter of fact, when we went the first mine I ever been in, the Arizona Rangers were there with me. And we thought the mountain lion lived in it. And so I can remember going there. And we have the area that they cleared this time called Pride Rock. They went into that area and really deep dive into between those rocks. We went up there before, but wanted to get them to do a deep dive into that area. And these guys did that for me. You see, they locked and loaded and ready to go. I remember when Buckeye Police Department first told me that, you don't go up to this. They pointed to that ridge area, that mountain area, and say, "Do not go there." It's really close proximity to where Daniel's Jeep was found. Do not go there. A mountain lion lived there. Guess where I went? Where the mountain lion lived, because as a father, I felt like, if this story that the Buckeye Police gave me at the time said some animal probably dragged them off or something like to that effect, I was going there. You're not going to tell me I'm not going there because the mountain lion's there. When it comes between me and my son. So I made the preparations. I'm not crazy. I'm not gonna go out there unarmed. I'm not gonna go up there, just like I'm just, gun ho. But what I did is made preparation with the Arizona Rangers, some of the guys in on the team, the desert team, and we made a trip on up. And believe it or not, my daughter as well. We made a trip on up there to Pride Rock to check the area out. But like I said, we wanted this time it needed to be fully checked, for human remains and things like that. So again, I really thank the Arizona Rangers for putting that on the forefront and clearing that area for me. Also, the Arizona Rangers also providing medical for my searches. You guys know that I told you before. People say, why you need so much for your search? Yes, because I care about people. I care about the volunteers. You guys care about us. I definitely care about you. I care about these guys here. I'm not going to ever put anybody in jeopardy just to go look for my son. So definitely want to make sure we had the medical staff there. I had someone, but she was unable to attend. So I'm really grateful for the Arizona Rangers for stepping in on that behalf. They put up their own tent, had their own medical tent there. And so, like I said, it was a blessing just to have those guys there to stand in that gap and do that. So I don't have all the pictures I really would like to have on this live, you guys, and I will have those in the future live to show you guys some of those pictures out in that search on the 12th. I'm asking anybody who's out there, and I've seen a lot of podcasters out there. I've seen, of course, the news, local news, but the podcasters and a lot of you was taking pictures. If you have pictures you want to share with me, please inbox those to me because I would definitely need it. I was really busy. I'm not taking pictures. I'm not busy. I was running across the desert, checking on the Arizona Rangers, get them to their proper place. Also talked to Detective Adams out there in a location I could not give to the public, and also tried to make sure I make it back with the razor back to the volunteers who was on the ground doing line searches. So I was moving all over the place and actually was directing people into the search. I mean, it was chaotic. When I say chaotic for me, to be going back and forth. So I didn't have time to sit back and take pictures. And my team was working in the command center. So I want to make sure that if you guys have any pictures you want to share with me, I really appreciate it. I would like to utilize those here on the lives. Again, I'm going to back up real quick. These guys being the team, we had, like I said, one of the guys, all the volunteers. These are pictures after the search on the debrief. Mr. Petito is in the picture, you can see, and as well as the volunteers. There's the few volunteers that was left over after the search, and we're having a discussion. I really appreciate the love of everyone who came out, like I said, to just to be a part, to take your Saturday off and join in with me. And I want to give you the numbers that we had out there. I mean, after this was the 50th search, you guys, can you imagine it's been 50 weeks and they went by really quick for the public search. Of course, it's 50 plus. I've been out there on many times on doing the weekdays, sometimes by myself out there doing things when it comes to investigating my son's disappearance. So if you want to add those, it would be a lot higher, but we are at the 50th search, public search. And I was asked by the reporters, like, how do people still come out after 50 weeks? And I say, first of all, it's God. The second part is people in this country, regardless of everything that's going on, we have love and empathy for others. And, and those who've been out in the search before, they understand, the desert is very intimidating. When you get out there, you might say, hey, look, I can go search this area. And when you get out there, you see how big the desert really is. We're definitely not searching the whole Sonoran Desert, but we're searching the area that's proven by science, by the information that we see that of Daniel's disappearance and etc. So everything, if you guys went on that sector map on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, you can see the little square. That is the search area, and believe it or not, it would take that long to actually do line searchings of that area. You guys might understand. You might understand that line searches is the one that actually found human remains. We found human remains out there. We bought closures for other families, and to back that up and to really justify that, you guys, those line searches, Buckeye Police Department and Maricopa County Sheriff's Office been out there searching. They said searching for Daniel, and they haven't even found the hands in front of their face. They haven't found anything out there. They couldn't find themselves. They didn't find themselves. But we, as volunteers, people just like you, we found human remains. I was able to solve a case for the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office out there. And so what I'm saying, even this time, we found bones out there waiting to hear pending results of those. And so what I'm saying is, the efforts of line searches are really important in the area for the desert, and it takes time. It takes this. Matter of fact, it could take even longer if you actually don't have those type of equipment that law enforcement have. You actually have people who's really dedicated, looking on the ground and actually searching, not just saying, hey, look, I would look at law enforcement, not putting them down, but they haven't found anything. They just kind of say, oh, I'm just out here looking for something, looking in the air, whatever they're doing. But we have people that actually looking and searching, and I really appreciate each and every last one who was out there. I have people that was begging after the search is over, say, hey, Ms. Ross, we need to keep going. Where we going next? Where we going next? Where we going next? Unfortunately, I had to close it down. First of all, for a couple of reasons, it was really hot out there. It got really hot quick, going up to noon. And the other part is, and I wasn't going to let anybody go further than that with that weather. But at the same time, we had the Buckeye Police Department out on the ground, and they were trying to get everybody out the desert because they still had the cadaver dogs there. I made sure when I set that up with the Buckeye Police Department to search a specific location I gave them. They said they were searching this location, but they went a little further, and they kept asking me how long would the volunteers be out, because they want them to end up crossing over with the dogs. So again, so the search was done, and I really appreciate, like I say, everyone who actually took that time and came out there with me. Let's see if I got any more here. This volunteers, and this is one of my favorite pictures at the end. Is the pictures with the volunteers, the few that was left over, and just the love that I have received out there in the search. But again, in the search, we have volunteers found these bones that would be checked out by the Buckeye Police Department. We put flags there. We have the coordinates there. Please help find Danny.com. Those things go straight to Detective Adams. He will be the one to determine what these are. And believe it or not, we found things like this small bone. Somebody say, hey, that's something small. The desert does a lot to a human body. I can't tell you this, you guys. And that's the hurtful part when I go out there. I know what I'm looking for when I ask people to come out there with me at this point. We're looking for things like this. This is a small piece of bone. And law enforcement could determine if it's human, who it belongs to, whatever the case may be. I don't know the sign. I'm not that person. That's their job. But we flag it. We flag it, give them the coordinates. They look at it, and they determine if it's some type of human bone. They would come out and assess that. So you can see the bones there. Some of the volunteers saw this spot where someone was burning some bones as well. So all these things, it's more pictures than this, you guys, but it's just kind of sample of what we do out in the desert, and why it takes so long, and why we have to really continue to really look really hard. I have people ask me if I'm going to do any more searches. They're ready to go. To be honest, I have no real full intentions to do so at this time. And the reason why I say that I don't have the intention to do so at this time, because we covered a lot of area. We covered the areas that I wanted to get the little portions there. So I say if there's another search that will be possible out there, it would be based on information, just like I got for the search I had on the 12th. Information that says, hey, look, you need to check this spot out. You need to check this area out. So I can't rule out any more searches, but what I'm saying is that is not something I'm just going out there at this point, like, oh, I need to keep going in this little direction here when we searched those areas this last Saturday. So again, I want to thank everybody who's been patient with me, who's been out there, who showed their love and their strength to be out there with me. I really thank the Mr. Petito, Joseph. I thank him so much for being out there with me. A matter of fact, he called me a few weeks ago and told me, hey, he wanted to come out and volunteer to search. And I was like, well, yeah, of course. I'll happy to see my brother out there. And come on out there. I really was grateful to have him out there to travel. He already, I think it was 3 weeks ago, like I said, and he bought his ticket really quick. And I was telling him, I said, hey, look, wait a minute, don't move so fast. I'm trying to make sure I have all the funding and things that rolling with what I'm trying to do in Arizona. It wasn't just a search for me. So everything I needed wasn't based on just the search. I had to be on the ground for a whole week. Take care. I had to make sure everything from that take care. I had to send things back to South Carolina from Daniels, that belongs to Daniels. I had to go through his storage. You guys know the emotional part that I had to go through just taking away his, his things and, getting rid of his things. And that's, I'm choking up on it already. That was the most hurtful part. You guys, I went in that storage unit, and the first thing I saw going to one of his boxes was his prosthesis. Excuse me, I lose my voice. I get stressed when I lose my voice. But his prosthesis, and it was something from when he was in junior high school. His mother and I got him when he was in junior high school. I don't know why he kept it, but he kept it. It was in the box, and it was very, very hurtful. I mean, to see that, and for me, and it was so bad. I had to get out in the parking lot, and I sat there for at least 40 or so minutes to get my head back together. But we managed to get through it, and go through his things, and like I said, dismantle his storage. So that was the hardest part: get things sent back, South Carolina, and that kind of stuff. And that was one of the hardest parts of being out in Arizona. The search was very hard, but at the same time, the great part is what I'm alluding to now for you guys, is that I had the opportunity to do exactly what I told you guys I was going to do. Get in the face of law enforcement. You cannot do a lot, when you're away from South Carolina. So way in South Carolina. So I had to get my boots back on the ground. You guys helped me get there. I truly appreciate that. Put my boots back on the ground for the search, put my boots back on the ground for Daniel Things, to advocate for him, to set things up with Maricopa County. Like I said, you guys, if it didn't go the way I needed, I was going to do a small protest on that Friday at the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office. Fortunately, I didn't have to do that, but I had a meeting with the Buckeye Police Department, with the Detective Adams there, his team, and it went really well. I took my friend, my brother. He's the West Valley NAACP president. Also, he does wear a lot of hats. He went with me. Larnell, you guys know Larnell, part of my A team. We went there. He always there with me when I had to engage with law enforcement, but he was there with me, and we was able to sit down, and he can talk to them based on law enforcement side of things, because they understand that part of the discussion, the law enforcement aspects. But I was also able to really deep dive, you guys. When I say deep dive, I was going there on a mission, you guys. You guys helped me get there, get my boots back on the ground. I was not leaving that week, saying without what I was came there for. So I pushed really hard. I took Detective Adams back from day one. Not really trying to criticize what they've done. Of course, he understood what I was saying. I had to use very direct things to say to them as a department, but show them where their errors are. Show you what your errors are and why you do not have leads in my son's case. It's unacceptable not to have leads when there are leads in my son's case. There are forensic things that needed to be done. That was long-standing. There's information that need to be looked at. It's common sense things, like I told him, things that should be based on science. And like I explained to him, my family and I, we are science-based people. We think on those levels. So when we look at things, we don't look at it in the way of just saying, "Hey, this is what it is." No, you need to break it down. If you came in the middle of a conversation with Daniel, his siblings, and myself, you'd be like, "What the heck is going on? Can we break things down?" So we would have our discussion. I smile because now I'm having that memory of the way we are together, with all of us together. So how we talk, we'll break things down, and that's the same approach I have when it comes to my son's case. You cannot just look at it on the surface level. You have to break it down and really understand what's really going on. So I was able to do that with Detective Adams, and and I can't say with Detective Adams, being that it's a new detective in my son's case, the whole detective team is new. So it felt like a restart with the Buckeye Police Department. We have a new chief of police, Sanders, even though he was under Chief Hall at the time, but he's up there as the chief now. So I feel like it's a bit reset. And I felt that way ever since November when I talked to Detective Adams and told him what I needed. I was planning a search for spring. During the time I didn't have a set date, I told him it was going to be in spring and what I needed him to do. He immediately at that time said he was going to talk to Chief Sanders and see what they can make sure they get this thing rolling. Because he said, yeah, he was willing to do that. So what I told him what I needed was for them to search a specific area. I gave them the coordinates and the reasons why. And I cannot really put that in public just yet, but the reasons why and the coordinates. The reason why I'm not putting it in public yet because I'm waiting on answers from what they did on Saturday search. But what I'm saying, you guys, he was willing to do it up front. And so when I got the date, he said, "Yep, just give me the date, and we'll have those things set up." I gave him the date. Finally, I think it was in January, the end of January, beginning of February, and he was ready to go. He put the request in for the dogs, and and all of us went together. So, and also the Rangers. The Rangers reached out to me. They've been in search before. They said, "Hey, they're willing to assist again." And it's right on time. I'll tell you, God put things in place. You guys, when things start falling apart, I got a little nervous when I didn't have the command center fully staffed. I didn't have the medical part of that's really important. I even had issues with the razors and things like that, getting those things rented, and was able to pull that off once I got to Arizona. So I tell you what, you guys, just the fact that we was able to pull those line searches with the volunteers, was able to get the area that I needed them to get. I'm telling you, it was a tremendous blessing. But when I was in that meeting, to go back to the meeting, talking to Detective Adams, they agreed to do the forensic work that I've been asking for. Finally, after 3 years of really pushing this thing really hard, stressing about it, you guys, I'll give you a little truth about this. I have been having, coming up to the search, I've been having really hard difficulty sleep. I'd be lucky if I even got an hour or even 30 minutes of sleep. I just, for some reason, could not go to sleep. It was a lot on my mind. I thought it was maybe something medical going on. I'm like, why can't I go to sleep? The team would tell you that as well. I promise you, when I got that message and we talked in that office and they agreed to do all the things I asked them to do forensics wise, and also to take those things out of my possession so I would eliminate bills that I couldn't take care of no longer. I had the bills in Arizona. It took a relief. I must have slept really good that night. It was 6 hours, but it was really good to have that sleep to say, you know what, that's what the problem was. Just that kind of having that kind of stress on your mind when you dismantling your son's things, and have that moment where you feel like you just erasing them out of reality. Those type things. So it is a lot going on at one time. It was very high. It was a really big time at Arizona. It's some good moments, some high moments, a lot of low moments, high moments. You name it. It was great to see my team again. I was able to see my granddaughter. I was able to see my daughter, and so those things made me very happy. It took a lot of the stress off, but at the same time, I'm really grateful that the Buckeye Police Department Detective Adams was able to agree to get these forensics done that I've been asking. That would yield, in my opinion, new leads in Daniel's case. So we had a custody exchange. I was able to get that set up with them. They came to Phoenix, to Daniel's storage area, and we made an exchange of everything. Daniel, I can't tell you, a part of me, because of the past history I have with the Buckeye Police Department, I feel a little nervous and a little reluctant in some areas. I wouldn't say reluctant, but kind of scared to feel that I'm letting everything of that Daniel back into their hands, meaning that, hey, I had to put some trust there. I had to put it all in God's hand and say, you know what I have, the evidence wise, that I was holding on for 3 years, that is Daniel's justice. That's his justice. That is what's going to determine if we find Daniel or not. If law enforcement do their part and do the right thing, if they continue to do exactly what they say they're going to do. One thing was encouraging when we was making this change is that Detective Adams and his team were wearing body cams, and they had them turned on. So, and when they had them turned on, I see it turned on. I see the little thing blinking on it. I say, he's doing everything by the book. So that kind of encouraged me that, we actually are doing this custody exchange in the proper way. We was able to document it, get the information, what I'm giving him, and receipt wise, and that type of stuff. So again, I will give you guys some more updates on that if you guys indeed will be doing the forensic. And you guys know how I am. I'm smiling about that because you know how I am. It's not just ending there. Say, oh yeah, they have it, and they say they're gonna do this, and that is it for me. Seeing is believing. I have to actually visually see this thing through. I'm a hands-on person. I will be in Arizona, back and forth in Arizona, to make sure these things are being accomplished. Of course, I'm giving them some time to make sure it happens. We talked about getting DPS to do the forensics work. That's the Department of Public Safety. However, I know the person's over the Department of Public Safety. He and I had a conversation while I was in Arizona. He advised that, I do it through Maricopa County. That's why you guys heard me pushing Maricopa County so long. He advised me a long ago, and I did share that with Detective Adams as well. He ended up agreeing with that because he started off that way, department. I like, look, these guys have a backlog. I cannot afford to wait on DNA testing a year or two from now. It need to be done yesterday. We waited long enough. When Maricopa County has a rapid DNA testing center, they do it. They can do it in one day. It's really fast. And my son, his tax money went towards it. I lived in Arizona for 2 years. My tax money went towards it. So when it was getting this facility built, put together. So I say they need to utilize that for testing my son's, he's been missing long enough, testing these things, testing the red transfer paint, testing those airbags that I gave them, the clothing on the ground that I explained to him that my family, we do not recognize, do indeed say it is. I mean, when I say do both sides of that vehicle, the airbags, both sides. We had a passenger and the driver's side, the passenger side deployed, meaning someone's sitting in the seat. It's just so much I can go on, you guys, to revisit some of the things that Ken said at the initial. He said, my son, we even talked about the little small things. My son said he was sleeping, tired, want to go back to Phoenix. My son don't even live in Phoenix. He wouldn't even say, let's go back to Phoenix. Why he wants to go back to Phoenix? He live in Tempe. So it's those lies and things that, that don't make sense that to Ken's story. Why this wasn't done? Why is a lingering person that's hidden that we need to know? And I demanded that too. I need to know who was the other girl that my son told me. He told me personally that when he spent the night with Caitlin, there's another young lady there too. I don't know her name. Buckeye Police Department is hiding that person off their name for whatever reason. We need to get to the bottom of that too. So I'll be pushing all that kind of stuff in Daniel's case. So by far, you guys, just because I'm telling you this, it's not over. It's not over until my sons get justice. I will be, doing different avenues and asking you guys how you can help me continue my efforts to find my son. And also I want to say, I'm jumping to something really quick here. That's a continuation of what I'm also doing. You guys know I'm really an advocate for missing American cases. And I'm a person who will be fighting for missing Americans. You guys know I ran for U.S. Congress. I lost my election in last November, but I'm running again. I want to say this real quick. I did a town hall for the first time last night. The incumbent who's there, he was in office for 23, going on 24 years now, that I lost to. He hasn't even showed up. I've been on the campaign trail. This guy haven't showed up to anytime he had to sit down in front of his constituents. He don't show up. He only show up for those who vote for him to get photo ops, but he don't show up. I sat there again last night. Think about it, I had all this on my mind, you guys coming from Arizona, but I had to go straight to a town hall to talk to constituents, to people just like us, people. I'm a constituent. And so to talk to people and, to let them know, hey, look, my drive to help it came from, this efforts to find my son. It came from that, I seen the volunteers out there in the desert that you guys seen a picture of. Some of them had missing persons. This when I had like 200 people out there, you guys. You have some that was out there with me who have missing loved ones, but they took that strength to come out and help another family, right? And so I hear their stories. We all have the same pains, and being human, I had to do something. Daniel would do it as well. Started Daniel Ross Foundation. Really still trying to get really moving, and also we have doing the day of remembrance, into some of the kind of like visual those things, the podcast or whatever, to make sure that we're highlighting other cases as well. It's part of what I want to do. It's part of what I want to do. Running for Congress is part of that, is to bring legislations or craft legislations that can help law enforcement, help families. You guys already know, I've been working with the senators in Arizona. I learned a great deal about some things. So I wasn't going to sit on it. I was going to say, hey, look, and what I told the telecommunication company, it's kind of, I smiled when I said it. Was in a meeting, a big meeting. I had every last one, T-Mobile, Sprint, you name it. and they were all in the meeting and talking the same language, with the data. And I told them, I said, don't worry about it. I'm coming through your back door. I'm not coming to rob anybody. I'm saying I'm coming through your back door. They didn't know what that mean. I'm sure they was like, what do you mean by that? That means I'm running for Congress. Nobody want to do it. I'm going to do it myself. And so that's the attitude I have, the way I am, the kind of person I am. I don't wait on anybody. You probably can tell that I'm not waiting on anybody. Buckeye say your son is a grown man, could disappear if he want to. They're not going to do anything. I'm not waiting on anybody. I came to Arizona. I had to go and search for my son myself. I couldn't get in that desert. I didn't wait on anybody. I just went online and started working really hard every night and found people who want to come out there to the searches with me. So what I'm saying is, you guys, is that my efforts to find my son is not over. I really thank God for Detective Adams giving the opportunity to try to give a renewed thing with the Buckeye Police Department. And I want to see where it's going to go. But you best believe, you know how I am, you guys. I'm be all on their back, right? It's just not sitting back. So again, just make sure these things go the way they told me it would go. So again, I'm going to go to some questions really quick because I do have my young daughter I'm going to want to spend some time with. And I told her I wasn't going to be on here too long. But so what I'm going to do is answer some of the questions. Then I'm going to jump off, and I will leave you guys with. You guys probably see what I put up just a while ago, the news articles. So you can go in and look at some of those things. The interview with Mr. Petito, Joseph Petito, he and I together to one he himself, and the news clips, you guys. So I would play that at the end. Also, I wanted if you guys want to just watch something, it would just be playing. And also, I will put that Dateline interview back up again, and then that'll be the end of this live. So I'm going to the chat section, and I want to thank everybody who joined in this evening. See where I can left off at, and not sure. Let's see where I'm at here to bring everyone who just joined in. Wow, there's a lot of people joining in. I really appreciate you guys. I do see the justice. Thank you, Jamie, again for the justice. Tracy, thanks so much. God bless you too. Susan, and if you guys have a question, I'm gonna come down really quick. If you have a question, I forgot this. I haven't done this in a long time. If you have a question, put the word, the letter Q before your question, or the word question before your question. So when I come down real fast, I know it's actually a question. If I don't recognize it, that's a question. So that'll help me out. And those in the if you're on the Instagram side, I will see your question. If you want to do the same thing, you put the letter Q there, because I see your thing scrolling up, and I definitely won't be able to tell if you have questions there. But if you have one, put a big letter Q there, the word question before your question. And I happen to see it up there, and I will answer that question. I may not be put on the screen, but I'll answer that question for you. Thank you, Robin, for your prayers. Thank you, Coco Puff, so much. I really appreciate you off of the YouTube side. Suzanne, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your prayers. I truly appreciate you. Also, thank you, Jess. Your strength is okay. I had that one. Thanks so much again. I really appreciate it, Jess. If I put these back up again, you guys, I'm trying to catch up where I left off at. So I want to tell everyone up front, thank you so much. Lucas, thanks so much for being here. All the Facebook sides, uplifted prayers always. There's no giving up, and you're right. There's no giving up. Thanks so much hitting up on the Facebook side, and thanks so much for your prayers. Kathy Block, thanks so much for being here. Hoping you find answers and peace one day, and we will. I'm not giving up on that, and we will. So thanks so much. I really appreciate it, Robin. I follow a guy who helped with the search. Thanks so much, Robin. I really appreciate him as well. Let's see who else I have. Prayers. Thank you, Eileen. Thanks so much for the prayers. Yes, 50 searches, you guys. 50 searches. And I'm glad you brought that back up. I want to say this really quick. And I really thank you guys. And the Petito family, I tell you guys, I love them so much. And I really thank them for what they do and advocating for everyone. And also Joseph for being there for me. I truly appreciate that. I want to say that he said up front, David, when we're talking on the phone before, you guys know he was going to be there. And he said, you know what, I don't want this search to be about Gabby. And he knew that when you guys hear that he would be a part of the search, it would most likely with the news cycle to go that direction. It pretty much did, you guys, but that's like I told him, we're all in this thing together. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We're in this thing together. You're part of a club or a family or however you want to call it, that, we didn't ask to be in. But we're there. We're there. We all understand each other. We all know what's going on. Gabby, she deserved all that she received. She needs the attention. The family need the attention. They need all the healing they can get. It's not over for them. The healing, whatever the healing is for them, is their healing. It's their healing. It's their time. And you guys, your prayers for that family always. My prayers is there for them. My love is there. But I get it. He's right. He didn't want it to be that way. But of course, it's a high-profile case. And also, with the news cycles, they definitely going to utilize that. So 56 searches. What I'm saying is, said that point is to say that I didn't realize, I was telling you guys 49 weeks of desert searches, but when I got there, I didn't go into the search saying, it's going to be 50 weeks. But when I had to go in front of the volunteers to do the safety briefing, I looked, I said, wait a minute, it's 50 weeks, And so that's a big deal. It's a big deal, you guys. And again, when I was asked that, after 50 weeks, you was able to get people still come out. Yes. And, and what I'm saying is it's a big deal. It's several big deals that kind of got washed over, that wasn't talked about in the news cycle, bigger than it should have been, because like I say, again, it kind of got overshadowed by the Petito case, but it was one of the things that I felt that should have been highlighted. And I want to highlight those things now. And the highlight part was the fact that we was able to get a reset with the Buckeye Police Department. The way I feel after those 49, 50 weeks of searches, the things that haven't been done by the Buckeye Police Department, the failures they have done, those type things, the things that had the grievances over, you name it. And, so to see that we finally kind of have some type of reset, they was able to take on to those forensics and retest and do some more testing, forensic testing on these items. That should have been the big news, not that, Joseph Petito is coming out to the search. That shouldn't have been the big news. It should have been the news that, we have more opportunity to find leads into my son. My son is still missing, is what I'm saying. He's still missing to date, and I'm still searching for him. It's not over for me. It's not over for me. There's no healing. There's no, that type stuff going on right now. So I thought it would be proper if the news cycle would have been more, more thoughtful when it comes to what's happening. It hurt me somewhat. I'll be honest with you guys, because it was a big deal to me. It's a very big deal to me coming out of that meeting with the Buckeye Police Department and have their promises on things after all this trouble and these cycles of news. That should have been something that stuck out to them the most, is the fact that the Buckeye Police Department is doing this. We have changed the custody of items. I finally got those things out of storage, to get tested. And so that's big news. That's the big news, and that's the big story. So I want you guys to hear that from me. I'm not getting as far out as the news cycle because I'm just one person. But what I'm saying is, I really needed you guys to know that, the biggest story out of this whole search, and you guys helped me get back in Arizona. The biggest story out of that is the fact that we have new testing in Daniel's case, forensics wise, that those things have been taken back over by the Buckeye Police Department, and also that, just the success of the search itself. So everything I asked you guys for when I was asking you guys for help since November, I accomplished those things. To God be all the glory. I accomplished those things, and I'm very grateful for those things that happened. And so if I want to say that what the news cycle wouldn't have not say, I want to say those are the biggest points of what happened over the weekend. So we did have 50, and it is the 50th search, that should have been highlighted as well. 50 searches, and I can tell you, I have SOP even talk about the financial part. I had someone say others said this and that, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to put the name there to this thing, but when your family going through a crisis like this, it's hard. It's hard on all kinds of levels, financial, to mental, to spiritual, you name it, you go through all these cycles. And and people don't help it. People don't help it at all. People say things to you, they push you really hard. They really don't understand the situation because they're not in it. They accuse you of things, and it goes on and on and on. I can tell you guys, for any family, you have to be such a thick-skinned person. It is so much goes on with the territory of just having a missing loved one. And I only guess, if you're a person like me that really pushes hard and keep on going, and that goes on. It goes a lot go along with it. So I want to say to everyone who's really been very thoughtful and you saying these kind things, I need those things, boy. I tell you, after some things I have to hear and do, I really need them a lot of times. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Aaron. Again, say, geez, Mom is such a, I don't know what's going on with that, but I wish you'd help me get my head straight on what's important. And I'm sure you had a good reason for that, Aaron. I know you very well. Thanks so much, Lola, for your love and your prayers. I don't see any questions on the Instagram side. I don't think. Let's see here. Make sure double check. I don't see anything on the Instagram side. So if you guys have any questions, like I said, just put the capital letter Q, question mark, things like that as I'm coming down. I see it. I'll say something. That's awesome. Thank God for you and the searches. The desert is so vast. It is, and I tell you what, I wish I can have some of the volunteers. If you guys want to come on live with me, you can talk to some of the people to let them understand how it is to be out there in that desert, and the terrain itself and how intimidating it can be, and why you would think that it would take so long to do a search, and especially when you're doing it the way we're doing line searches, doing the depth searches. My pointy ears are hearing something in this guy's voice. Seclusion, thanks so much for being here. And to see D Lucky, I'm starting to see some things come up that my moderators, I used to have my moderators on here, but I'm not sure they're here tonight. But I want to make sure that I'm not reading things that's going to be harmful to you guys as well. You're hearing a sad father who is looking for a son. So I'm assuming that and this one is, maybe there's some things I may have to skip over, but I'm trying to get there to make sure I'm not getting the wrong ones. God bless your family. Thank you so much, Valerie. I truly appreciate that. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, D Lucky, for your prayers, and I really appreciate you. Let me see here. I'm hopeful you find your son. I'm glad the search went well. Thanks so much, Headstone. I really appreciate that. Let's see here. I hate that I have to go through and kind of filter my messages because I have some things in the past. You guys, I remember when I first started my podcast and things like that. When I didn't have these I want to say moderators there. We had people throwing up pornography to you name it in the chat. So guys, if you see anything like that, I truly appreciate. Sorry that you have to see that. And I apologize up front, but I will try my best to get it off quick as possible. I do see Brooke here with a question off the Instagram side. Brooke, I see you there. You asking, let's see if I can read that. You asking what can I do to help? Yes, you guys. I still have need help with the mail-in protest. That is something that is going to always keep going. I know the Buckeye Police Department did that exchange with me. But you guys, that's like you guys have my back, so we definitely want to make sure this thing is going. Don't let them think that because they, say they're doing this for me and we're just letting our foot off the gas. I don't need that. Also, I need the sign the petition. The petition again when I go back to Arizona, because I'm going to continue to go to Arizona. You guys, is not a stop thing for me. I have to get back there to constantly get back there to engage with law enforcement. So. Every time I go, and when I went there to talk to him last week, I was able to say, "Hey, look, this is who's behind me. This are the number of people who actually behind me and want these answers, who want to see these forensics done, who want to see these things get done." So I really need you guys to continue to do that as well. So definitely help me on those behalf, and also definitely get those flyers out. That's how you can help as well. Share the story, Headstone. Sorry, not Headstone, but who is that? Brooke. Q, share the story as much as you can, wide as possible. I am also, you guys, again, I'm an advocate for other families out there. So definitely I need help with that on that behalf. If you want to join in with me on the Daniel Robinson Foundation, we need people. I'm going to start focusing more on that. It's kind of hard to get it off the ground the way I really want it when I'm doing so many things. I'm wearing a lot of hats too. But I need help with that. So you guys want to help with the foundation, I'm looking for people. Please inbox me. Please email, please help find Daniel, yahoo.com. You can utilize the phone number that I'm going to put on the bottom of the screen. Let's see if I can get this here. Put it on the bottom of the screen. I should have had that already, but information on the bottom of the screen. If you know you want to be a part, just please reach out, and I really need people because, like I said, it's very important for me. It's a thing that I want to do to make sure I'm doing my part and helping find missing Americans. So the other part is the campaign. You know, I did it, like I said earlier tonight. I did my first town hall. The incumbent who I run against, that was his town hall. His constituent. I'm not the elected official he is. He didn't show up. He didn't see the need to show up for the people. I'm surprised. I'm sure a lot of the Republican, and I know a lot of people here may be Republican. I'm not doing political stuff right now, but what I'm saying, there's a lot of people angry right now, and they were angry. They was angry, but I was able to step in the gap and to be able to try to answer the questions that I could, not being an elected official, not being having any power, but sometimes people just need to have somebody there to hear what they have to say and try to help them find solutions to what the problems are. So I was really grateful to be there last night to be able to do that. So what I'm saying is I need help with that because, the reason why I ran in the first place, you guys was for missing Americans. The 600,000 that go missing every year, no matter what your party is, your ideologies, your spiritual background, Americans. We are Americans, and we know who they are. Americans, 600,000 Americans go missing every year, over 3,000 a day, 2,000 with their children. We have to stop that. We have 40% all missing cases of people of color, though Black Americans make only 13 to 14% of the population. So again, those things are very critical to me. And I feel like, hey, this is a crisis that happened in our country. And that's what I decided to do to try to combat it. So it's to bring legislation that's going to help law enforcement, help families in real time. So again, I'm looking forward to doing that. I need your help with that as well. Those who are here in South Carolina say, hey, I'm not in South Carolina. How can I vote for you? There's all the kind of ways you can help with the campaign other than being able to vote. So if anybody want to do that as well, that'll help too, because I'm already started my campaign again. Again, I lost my last election, but I'm really doing this again for 2026. All right, and let's see, I have here, yes to fathers who just want their sons. And let's see, thanks so much, D. Lucky, for being here. Your son is so proud of you, right? And I'm proud of him too. Thanks so much, Duncan. I really appreciate it. I hope so. I hope he really is. And I'm doing everything I can. I tend to believe that I'm doing everything any parent would do. I can't say, I have some exception. I would say people I do know, but I can say that it seemed to me to be natural for any parent to do what I'm doing for their child, grown adult child, but their child. So I just want to say thank you so much for that. Seclusion, to see a little one in the Sonoran Desert. Lord have mercy. Thanks so much, Seclusion. To see Don Holmes. Please keep us posted, David. Much love to you and your family. I don't see anything on the Instagram side. Let's see, Anna just joined. What is the update? If you missed the update, you guys, the update is that I was able to do a custody exchange of all the things that I was holding for. You guys know I've been on here preaching and fussing and everything else for 3 straight years, trying to push law enforcement to do their job. And that's to do a full workup on my sons on the forensics. And we was able to, in a meeting, I was able to get with Detective Adams at the time, was able to get those things done, agreement with the Buckeye Police Department. We did a custody exchange of things, and I'm waiting on these things to be done. So again, I'm really grateful for that. I'm saying, you guys, what you guys have done for me gave me the opportunity to be able to do that. I went on that out there in Arizona with a mission on my mind and actually completed that mission. I'm really grateful for that. So that's part of that. What you just missed is the fact that we have forensic testing that will be done on a deeper level on my son's things. You know, I mentioned the transfer paint. You guys already know that. But to revisit everything, this whole thing, and not just the forensic part. We talked to Detective Adams about revisiting the whole case in another objective way outside of what Detective Biffin have done in the past. So we definitely looking at it from a different angle, addressing those things that are lingering, like I said, those forensics, revisiting Daniel's apartment, revisiting the conversation, the things that, so to look at it in a different way. We had those real tight conversations that go deep into what have been missed, and sometimes you have to be a little blunt and at the same time be a little nice, and kind of let everybody know that what angle you're coming from. So I was able to be able to do that. Again, I was telling you I had Larnell there. He wears a lot of hat. He's a former law enforcement officer, so he knows the inner workings of law enforcement. So he was there, as always, there to talk on that behalf, to say, hey, this is the proper way of protocol for things to be done, and it hadn't been done that way. And so finally, we had one detective to actually listen to that. When other times in the Buckeye Police Department, it was this hard head. I can't do nothing wrong. I'm right about everything. I'm assuming. I don't know what the attitude was about. Some parts of me say it was a cover up. That type stuff. So, we was able to get a leeway. So that's what the update is. And I'm telling you, Anna, it was drowned out this weekend. It was drowned out by I say it's kind of like a sensationalizing of what was really happening. The fact that it was a 50th search, that was very important to highlight. And also the fact that we had a new lead. The reason why we had the search in the first place, that should have been highlighted more. The fact that the Buckeye Police Department was following a second lead, that should have been highlighted. For they put cadaver dolls on the ground, that should have been highlighted over the weekend. I had a meeting with the Buckeye Police Department. Now Dave Robinson's working with the Buckeye Police Department. That should have been highlighted. You get what I'm saying? But all things been overshadowed by the semantics of the things that to me it mattered, but it don't matter when it comes to finding justice in my son's case. That's why I'm here tonight, to try to make sure you guys hear it from me. Didn't know about that, because if you guys could share this live, you can share some things I'm saying to other people. I want it out there. The news cycle wasn't able to do it, but I'm doing it tonight, and to get it, out there, those important points that should have been highlighted in the stories I'm going to play the stories at the end of this live, so you guys can actually look at it if you want to look at that long length for 20-minute thing. Put a bunch of clips in. It's very good. Don't get me wrong, it's very good. We have Mr. Petito there. He really is a person that really trying to do everything he can to help other families. He's a friend of mine who's been wanting to do this for a while. He reached out to me. And asked to be a part of the search. And he up front said, look, I don't want it to be about Gabby. But, of course, we already knew, with the way the news cycles run and the attention that comes with that. We already knew how things would be. But he handled that really well. Of course, we did the interviews. The interviews was definitely to highlight what the Gabby Petito Foundation is doing, what I'm doing on the ground, those type things. So it went out really well, except for the part of, like I said, the highlights that should have been there. The most important part, if let's say if Mr. Tito didn't say anything at all, he didn't come out searches, I would assume that they would have been talking about those things again. The fact that it's a reset of the Buckeye Police Department. Dave Robinson's working with the Buckeye Police Department. They came out to the search to follow a lead with cadaver dolls on the ground, and they did an expansive search of the area. The search that I put together, I put all three parts of the search together. The first part was with the volunteers to search an area based on a promising lead of someone seeing Daniel come out of a ravine. So all that stuff should have been highlighted. That should have been the biggest highlight of the whole search on April the 12th, but it wasn't. Again, that's what the part I'm looking at right there, and what I'm trying to explain to you guys. So thank you, Anna, for putting that out. Anybody have any more questions? No. All right. On the Instagram side. But Esther, thank you so much for being here. Your strength and endurance for your son. supersedes any illusions. Just for Daniel. Thank you, Esther. I think everything you've been doing from day one, you always have my back, always being here. So thanks so much, Esther. And also, let's see, have Don. Thanks so much. Yes, we do. Let's see who else we have here. Let's see here. I do see. Let me see. I'm trying to try to filter my inbox, my messages here. I see some things going on that's not proper, and I want to make sure I'm not there. I don't have anyone to break that down for me, but I want to make sure that I'm not putting up the wrong thing on the screen. So heartbreaking. And thanks so much, Jamie. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Mary Ellen. I really appreciate it. I am trying to be strong as I can. I truly appreciate it. And let's see here. Let's see. Thank you, Don, for being here. And I'm kind of rushing through you guys because of the highlight of what I'm starting to see in the chats. So what I want to do is, if you guys have any questions, I want to get to those, and I'm just kind of skim over. And I want to say I'm not reading. I really want to read everything, you guys, but I'm gonna try to make sure I skim over and move kind of fast because it will take longer. Trying to filter at the same time. I really appreciate this. UD Lucky. I thank you so much, Don. I really appreciate this. I truly appreciate you. Also, let me see here. Duncan, again, thanks so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. And, you know, you guys, I hope everyone can read these comments. I'm kind of moving kind of fast because of what I'm seeing. I'm trying to filter right now. And see here. And Melissa, thank you so much. You have a long one. I'm going to put this up real quick and read it as fast as I can. I was one of the volunteers that was assisting to keep looking. Thank you so much. Yes. Okay, that's right. Yeah, put a smile on my face. Yes. Don't worry, David. A group of us locals will continue to help find Daniel. We have a group text going, trying to get another search going. I truly appreciate that. Thanks so much. And I love that motivation, like I told you out there. And, you know, one of the things that was big for me, again, is the fact it was hot out there. It was getting hot. You remember it's very hot. And, you know, one of the things is hydration. I was preaching. I'm a guy who took heat training in the military for Afghanistan. And you know, hydration is very key. And I was preaching that in the safety briefing, but I realized after the search, I didn't take any much water. I think the gentleman, you probably saw him on the razor with me. He was, David, drink some water, drink water. He was handing my water, you know, but I was so busy, I didn't realize I wasn't drinking all the water I should have been drinking and taking in electrolytes. But here I'm concerned about everyone else. When I got back to my hotel, you know, I do a little skin test, and, you know, I was very dehydrated, and that wasn't really good. I could feel my body kind of do a little jumpy because I was getting the mood. I said, oh yeah, I was really close to probably catching a heat stroke or something to that effect. But I was able to get myself back together really quick, get hydrated, and I'm doing okay. So yes, thanks so much for that. And I really put a smile on my face, Melissa, because yes, I really appreciate you being out there, and everyone who's out there willing and willing to work with me, have that be another search that I'm putting together. But for now, like I said to you guys, when I was out there, I didn't have any more searches planned as it stands when I was standing out there. So I really appreciate it. You know, but if something come up and, you know, we get a new lead or something happen out there, yes, I will be hoping that to see your face again. And I'm really grateful for this time that you came out on Saturday. Thank you, Rain. Again, you have a mini team here in Phoenix. Thanks so much. Ready to move in the leads. You may get your strength and perseverance and inspiration, sending you prayers. Thanks so much, Raina. I truly appreciate it. And it's nice meeting all of you guys out there. And I thank you so much for your time and your Saturday and everything. So, okay, I have a question on the Instagram side. Let's see if I can grab that before it move. I think that's a question from Miss Lynn's. Uh-oh. I think I put something wrong, but I'm gonna highlight it. I don't know if you guys can see it from here. I thought I can highlight that. But it said, miss a lot. Did the person claiming to see Daniel coming out of the ravine say anything before now? And you know, this lead was a lead that I had, you guys. It wasn't like someone just told me a week before I decided to do the search. You know, guys. I can say it this way: when I was out there in the desert, I wear a lot of hats. You guys can almost imagine that I wear a lot of hats, and I do a lot of things at the same time. And when I received that tip, that lead, I gave it to the Buckeye Police Department, hoping they would do something with it. They didn't. At the time, I was doing searches still out there in the desert, and I want to put the information out, but I'm being careful with it because the information of that lead has to do with a lot with this person's personal life as well. So I try to be careful how I say it. But this lady was able to come down Sun Valley Parkway for an appointment that she had, a very serious appointment. That's what made her have very full detail and recognition of what happened that day. She would come down Sun Valley Parkway from an area called Festival. Between Festival and the area where we, back then was coming in through West Cactus Road, Sun Valley Parkway, and West Cactus Road. She remembers seeing Daniel coming out of the ravine. And the reason why she was able to, everybody know that Daniel's born out his right hand. The other part is, him being a black male, not too many black people up in that area of the desert, that area. So he coming out of the ravine, crawling out of the ravine on the side of the road. She thought that was strange as they was passing by, but half a mile down the road, his vehicle was sitting there on the shoulder road. She remembered the vehicle, the Jeep Renegade. She told the color. She said there was no damage on the vehicle. She noticed those very much details. Now, and the reason why the search is from that point to that half mile where you guys have searched on Saturday is because because of that proximity. First of all, we also know that with the vehicle, my private investigator was able to pull out the infotainment system, and also we had the black box data I forgot the word for it, but the computer from the vehicle itself. I think it's ECM, something to that effect. But to put all that information together, the first initial crash happened around close to 1:00, and that made sense based on what she was saying, because she said her appointment was at 1:00 in Buckeye. She was heading to Buckeye when she saw all of this happen, and that was her witness account. In that the general area right there, was unable to search in my previous desert searches. So of course, with everything happening, with the accident first happened around that time, we want to make sure whatever happened, if he was crawling at the ravine, as she was saying, and probably trying to walk back to his car because he's getting away from somebody. I don't know what happened, but if something would have happened in that area, we need to search that area, and that was the basis of that search I had for the volunteers, to make sure we're covering that area on the ground. Because at this point, if he's out there, something happened, of course, we're looking for remains. And so I definitely had to do that for that search. Like I said, I even brought that up to Detective Adams, when it comes to why the volunteers would be on that area. I'm sure hopefully they would go behind and do a little look themselves. But that is what that search is based on, that information that we found that could lead to something happening right there in that little sparse half mile radius, and we need to go west of that to see if I could say go east because it is a side of the road, across side of the road, and that could lead to what Rainey you're saying about searches in the future. I haven't put that together yet. What I'm saying is, if there'll be a search again, it'll be on information on things like that, but actually using science and common sense to say, hey, is it warrant a search? That's why I said that when I was talking to you guys Saturday. If it warrants another search to be out here, then I'm doing it. I'm gonna push really hard for the search. You see me say it on social media, and people say, man, he's still out there looking for me. And I say this to people who always say, I'll tell you, I get people say all kind of things to me, but I say to people like this: if you was on and I said it before on the live, your plane crash, God forbid, and you survived out there in the ocean, and you landed on a deserted island in that area, and you want, how long will you want somebody to come looking for you? I just want to put that point out. How long will you want to a point where somebody, you're surviving, and you want somebody to come find you and rescue you and bring you back home, right? how long would you want say I don't want nobody to come looking for me anymore? So this is my son. This is my son. I don't have a time limit where I would say I stop looking for Daniel. I can't say I don't envision myself and see myself searching the Sonoran Desert my entire life. I'm not trying to go out there now. You guys, if it's a reason, if something concrete, yes, I'm going to follow that lead. If it's something concrete to say no, he's not in Arizona at all. We have something that says he's in Georgia or something. I'm using an example. I'm going to Georgia. You get the point I'm making. So I'm following the leads. I'm following the information. I'm following common sense. I'm following the science. You name it, and that's it. The whole search I have been doing from day one have never been out. Say I'm just searching the whole Sonoran Desert for my son. That is crazy. So it was based on science, based on proximity, based on how far a person can walk and drop, based on the information. Say he's supposed to be walking around naked with no clothes on. Period. Nothing. How long you can walk in 118 degrees in the summer without dropping dead? That type thing. What kind of animals out there that could drag them away? All that stuff. What kind of hazards out there, like the horizontal mines, the vertical mines out there? Could he be in one of those? So it's those kind of things that we looked at when it comes to searching for Daniel, and that's why we drew a grid and we were searching grid searches. Every search was grid searches. We had grids. That mapping that got kind of messed up when Nature New World kind of did a reset, but that's what it all was based on. The 50 weeks of searches now was based on. I have a question here on. I had to go, you guys. I told my daughter I would be done. I just looked at the time. I just realized. Miss Lane said, "Question, Mr. Robinson, did a person claim to see Daniel just now come out and say, okay, Saul, okay, I think I did that one. Okay, she saw him, or had she already said that? Okay, I think this question I just answered. But again, you guys, thanks so much for being here on this live. I'm trying to cut it short at this point, and I'm going to go through real quick. Thank you, everybody, again. Thanks so much for the prayers. Thanks so much for is it mess me? I want to be there when I can. Yes, thanks so much. And yes, I will. If you can send me information, Luke Chris, I can do that. Jess, thank you so much. And let's see, Mochi, thanks so much. What answers to prayer? What an answer to prayers that Buckeye are finally hearing you. Yes. And that should have been the highlight of everything, you guys. Again, I'm going down real fast. And I apologize, you guys, for a lot of you. If I cannot get your comments and your questions, if I miss anything, I apologize. I need to jump off. I just can't believe this happened to Daniel. This has been so heartbreaking and such a mystery. I wish I knew more about the case that can't be discussed publicly. I wish I was on 60 on 60 Minutes. Yes, it's a lot. It's a lot that, of course, if you got an investigation, you can't put a whole lot. But what I am going to do, you guys, I'm going to do more lives, and there's some things I told my team I want to share with the public that I have never shared before. Now that Buckeye is doing this part, some more information that I know about my son's case, and just things that there'll be small things to some and big things to a lot, to get a little understanding what's happened in the past and things like that. So, I just want to put those things out. Trying to read these comments so I can see if I miss anything, you guys. Let's see here. We have a question here. Thanks for standing behind me, Jamie. I really appreciate that. We have questions too. Also, get it, David. Can't always sound it fabricated. For me, I don't accuse anybody of anything. But what I can say, I don't believe his story. I never did believe that story because it doesn't make sense. I actually, you guys see me do the lies. I actually driven his statement. It don't make sense. This guy telling me my son is like, he's so confused. He's a scientist, a brilliant guy, graduated with honors. He somehow got lost. And that was the initial lie to me. Because he said, the initial lie was that he said he was tired and he wanted to go back to Phoenix to rest. He don't even live in Phoenix. He live in Tempe. And so the second thing was he drove south to the T-junction, and he got confused to go back to Sun Valley Parkway. I followed his tracks. Somehow, all the tracks you guys see out there in the desert, he was able to pinpoint Daniel's tracks, his vehicle, and see it went out left. Like he's telling us a story he wants us to believe. It went out left further into the desert. Daniel was going to be confused because I can tell you when you go left at that T-junction, you guys, you can go about 800 feet and you'll come to a wooden fence. If Daniel would not have gotten confused, he would have came to that wooden fence and say, oh, this is the wrong direction. I'm going the wrong direction. I'm not going to open this gate. You got to literally get out your vehicle, open the gate up, drive through it, lock the gate back up, and keep going some way that you know you didn't come in a wooden gate. So it don't make sense to me. So all the stuff to me has always been Febby. He changed the story. Law enforcement I talked to Detective Adams about that as well. He changed the story. He told Detective Cruz 9 o'clock it was at the well site. He said it again, 9 o'clock. He even told me in my face, and my daughter's a witness, and another person that was with us is a witness to what he said. I wrote down notes. You guys can see the pictures I showed you guys. You saw the pad in my hand. I'm writing these things down, what he was saying to me. He said 9 o'clock. Same thing the officer said. 9:15, Daniel was gone. But then he changed the story. No, it was 9:30. So those things was initial problems for me in the case at the beginning. I'm not accusing him about anything, but I can tell you what, I don't believe the story. So the point is I'm saying, you guys, because it just don't make sense. The other part is Daniel, if he didn't want, and I know my son, I was a single parent. I have reasons to say, if anybody knows Daniel's thinking, I do. And to say, if my son didn't want to come to that second well site, he wouldn't even showed up at all. Matter of fact, he wouldn't even came to work that day if he was that tired. So it's another thing. And I will share one more thing with you guys because it's been part of some things I will release to the public, is the fact that, as you guys know, when Detective Biffin gave me his phone, it was missing his memory card. His everything about Caitlin was wiped out except for her phone number. Everything is in text. Everybody text messages, all that's still there. But everything between those two was wiped out the phone. And the other part is his Google history, where his Google Maps, the location things was cleared off. I was able to get those locations back when I got the phone. After Detective Biffin told me he cloned the phone. He gave me, if I got the phone back, and when I got the phone back, I was able to, over some time, get some Google stuff back, location-wise. I had my taxes doing that. And it shows that his phone was hanging around Levine, where the girl lived, all night that night before that next morning. And, you got to ask yourself, the question is, why he's around Levine. I didn't really understand where Levine is. I thought it was on the other side of Phoenix, but it's on that side of Buckeye side. Excuse me, my voice. And he was hanging around there all night. And I initially said to myself, if Buckeye, you probably heard me say that on live, or old live, if Buckeye did half of the work they were supposed to be doing, they would have realized that when Ken said he was tired and wanted to go back home, it didn't dawn on me about the Phoenix part and the Tempe part at the time. But if you say my son said he was tired and wanted to go back to rest, damn right he was tired. He been running around out in my mind thinking Instacart. Oh, he's running around doing Instacart all night, and then going to work, the next morning. Yeah, he's tired, I realized that all that, once you start investigating, you go back over things over and over again, you see things that you missed. I have so many files of things that I have that I've been taking notes and keeping up with on my son's case, and a lot of times running around doing interviews and this and that kind of takes away from those things. And so when you go back over those things, you find things that you missed. You start understanding some things that you didn't understand at the latter part. So those are things I'm still constantly doing, you guys. That's the things that caused me to have another search, because of those information is based on things like that. So the person asked me where the search was on the weekend. It wasn't a brand new tip that came in like yesterday or the day before I decided to do the search. It's based on the stuff I had to go back over again, over those old leads, those tips that came in. People saying tips. A lot of tips, I'm telling you, 90% of the tips leads to nothing. And I get a lot of them. I traveled to Sedona, to Flagstaff, to some of these other places to follow leads. When Daniel, that's me doing it myself, not law enforcement. It's funny. I heard Buckeye Police Department, the old detective, he was out there telling my own story that I told him. Oh yeah, going to Flagstaff, and I told him the story, and the story wasn't just me; it was my investigator. He went up to Flagstaff and went to the Sprouts grocery store, and the person told him to send a lead, and they thought they saw Daniel with some group of people playing instruments like the homeless population type folks. We told Detective Biff from that, and then they was out there telling us our own story. Yeah, we was at the Flagstaff and was saying the same exact thing we said. I'm sitting there listening to guys like, really, man? You telling us our own story so you can get credit for something? And so what I'm saying is, you guys, it's a lot to Daniel's story that I will still be working on and try to get information out there. But this is not the end of it, you guys. This is only the beginning for justice for Daniel. And I'm pushing that justice and continue to keep pushing that justice. Thank you so much for standing behind me, Jamie. I truly appreciate that. And see who else I have here. Last I heard, you shared new information about the things in the back of the seat that had water in it as it flooded when, in fact, it did not. Oh, yeah, it's a hard hat. I think you're speaking of the hard hat. Buckeye Police Department, and this is a weird part of the Buckeye Police Department that really gave me pause. They've really been adamant of making sure that this. That's why I was saying to me it was like a corruption there, is a cover up some type deal at the time before Detective Adams here now. That vehicle showed up on the 19th. On the 20th, they're speaking about 30 days, right? The vehicle was there for 30 days based on a hard hat. We found a hard hat filled with rainwater, but it had a business card in it that never deteriorated for 30 days. Now, guys already know that I did this big old. I'm a person that everybody know me. I like to collect business cards, right? And I use these business cards, different ones. They deteriorate in different ways, depending on what kind of ink they have on them. But all of them separate. Every last one of them separate. This business card did not separate in that water in his hard hat. They say it's been there for 30 days, and it had a lot of water in it. Somehow, out of everything in that vehicle, and then when I pointed out, they say, "Oh, the vehicle had water damage." Everything in that vehicle was dry, except this hard hat was filled with water. They said, and it's filled with water because the water's coming through the sunroof. They said, sunroof, the vehicle on the side, come through the sunroof, filling this water up. There's that much rain in Arizona, a desert state. Fill up a hard hat with water, right? That's what they want you to believe. And the hard hat was sitting kind of partially in the back seat, so it couldn't come off the driver's window, coming down straight down into that hard hat. And even if it did, let's say it's true that water was filling up that hard hat. It's raining that hard constantly to fill that up, right? Why is the vehicle dry? Why there's no puddle on the passenger side? There was no broken window on the passenger side. The glass is intact. No water can escape. There was no water in the vehicle. They're taking pictures now, and they want you to believe that the water that's concentrated on that hard hat. They concentrated on the hard hat to fill up. No, somebody poured water into that. I'm not saying they. I'm going to correct myself. Somebody poured water in there to make that story true to them. There's a couple things that happened that time with Chief Hall, who's not there anymore, thank God. The day they gave me that vehicle, I got threatened. I told you guys that before. The vehicle showed up on July 19th. On July 20th, they told me a day later that the vehicle showed up. They told the rancher, whatever you do, don't tell the media, then don't tell the family that this vehicle's been found, right? He started doing it away, he told me. They called me the next morning, late that morning, and told me about the vehicle being found by a rancher. I asked them why they didn't tell me when they found it that day before. Oh, because we didn't want to disturb your sleep. Like I'm sleeping when I had desert searches out there. I had 100, 200 people out there on the ground every Saturday. So my search has already been going on in June. And so, in the beginning of July. And so, when they said that, the next day, that's day on that 20th, they had called me down to the police station. And when they showed me that vehicle the first time, I had an emotional issue with it. I wanted to get out there. He threatened me, say, well, if you don't get out of here today, we're going to have a total away and you're going to pay storage fees. I had to beg grown man to hold the vehicle for 3 days because I don't know Dan's credit. I don't know what to take. I'm not from Arizona. They kept for 3 days. I had a meeting. And in that meeting, that's when I was able to sit down with the chief at the police at the time. I demanded the forensic work that they actually say they did. And when they swapped the steering wheel shifter, that little poor work they did, they still haven't tested it against anything to this day in the 2020-25 because I don't think they actually really did it. But anyway, if you guys think about it, that hard hat, they still tell me about this water in this hard hat, and and they've been there for 30 days. Now, this is the funny part. This is the kicker part. Now, I had desert weeks of desert searches already going on, volunteers on the ground. Not one time, you guys, not one time did the Buckeye Police Department help me in the search. They helped me financially. They helped me with no security. They helped me with nothing. It was people like you, volunteers on the ground, right? I had to go ask for money, GoFundMe money, to keep things going, right? And then that same Saturday, I had that meeting with them. They gave me that vehicle, turned it over to me. I didn't pull out their compound yet because I forced this forensics thing. That's holding for a couple more days to do the swabbing stuff. But Chief Hall showed up on that Saturday. Now, this is the kicker part. The guy that was working in my searches, I found that he wanted to be a Buckeye Police Department officer so bad, and he's kind of working. I called him with a scanner one time. He's kind of giving intel for whatever reason to the Buckeye Police Department with everything I do in the desert. And so he came out. He even drive a vehicle that looked like a police vehicle, and he knew what I'm talking about. He listened to us live right now. He knew what I'm talking about. He came out there. That we always have our meetings every Wednesday before the search. I'll tell him what we want to do. We can make plans on what we're going to do, how we're going to have the volunteers. So we already had the plan set. And when I got into the search, he's my coordinator. Get out there to the search. He called me. He was late. Never late now. He called me late. David, we're going to do a change of plans. I got a place that volunteers can get down further into an area that's a lot bigger, and they can get more cars in there. I was like, great. I already got somebody waiting on you, and they're going to show you where it's at. He lives in Buckeye, so he get there faster than I do. I was coming from Phoenix. And I get to the gate like we normally do. And sure enough, one of his buddies directed me to the place where we called, I was smiling because you guys, you're going to be like, what kind of stuff is going on? To the place we call the Quarry. That's the first time I ever been there. The first time we used it many times. Many of you guys who've been out searching been there as well. That was the first time me and my daughter been there. My daughter was going to searches with me at the time. And so we got there and we was waiting on him. Because before I could start my search, I always do a safety briefing. I see all the cars coming in. They help directing other volunteers to the area. And sure enough, he's right. It's a bigger area. I was loving it. I was like, man, this is a great area. But he was late. And when he came pulling over the horizon, I seen his vehicle. I was like, wow, this is, but I seen another vehicle just like his riding behind. I was like, well, who's the other vehicle? I ain't gonna tell you guys his name, but they finally made it to the area where it's at. And sure enough, he got the vehicle. I shook his hand, and the other person got the second vehicle, and it was Chief Hall, chief of police. He got out, and he just looked over me and my daughter. He met me in the meeting a couple days before. He just say, hey, how you doing, Mr. Robinson? And he looked over and kept going. Then he yelled out real grandstanding like, hey, everybody, y'all want to know where this vehicle was found? Or something to that effect. And that was like, of course, volunteers like, yes. And me and my daughter was looking like, yeah, we want to know too. They have the decency to show the family. I have never seen at that point where my son's vehicle was found. Because they called me to the police station, showed me a map, 2 maps, because they know I'm a military guy, and 1 photo. And never showed me this area. All right. So when he came out that vehicle, he was leading us, like I said this before, he was leading us like Moses on leading the children of Israel over the Red Sea or something. And everybody was walking. He said, oh, it's right over this hill. You guys seen that hill? Right over this hill. We was walking over the hill. We made it to the little area. And there's 2 weird things happened that day. He went to the area and he stand on top to the top up there like Moses. And he point down, he said, that's where the vehicle was found. I was here, I saw it, and the vehicle and blah, 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 and it was right here. This is going up. And then he started giving some things about how the cartels run the area, and they land their planes they come down, drop their planes on Sun Valley Parkway and kind of like touch the ground and take all, they drop their drugs on Sun Valley Parkway. And he tried to give me the indication that maybe the cartels had done something to my son. And so I'm just standing there listening to him, the volunteers. And then all of a sudden my daughter tapped me on the shoulder and said, Dad, this guy want to speak to you. He said he's the rancher, So the rancher, he was there, him and his wife. And this was literally what he did. He looked at Chief Hall from a distance. He said, I don't know why Chief Hall telling y'all that the vehicle's down there. It was right here. He pointed where it was at. And sure enough, he was right, because the picture that I saw, I remember seeing that little cactus stump there. And when I saw that he pointed and I saw that cactus stump, like that looked more like that picture. And sure enough, the glass is on the ground down in that ravine. It's a 20 ravine. It's really deep down in that ravine. And when Chief Hall heard that, he turned red in the face. Never seen him for the whole 49 weeks of this. Never seen him ever again in life out there. It's like when I went home to the hotel that night, I replayed all that in my mind. It's almost like he was trying to sell me the story. This vehicle's right here for 30 days. It was here. It was right here, but he got it wrong. He was trying to sell me this story for that reason. He's trying to sell it to me. It didn't make sense, right? So that's the indication I got, and I throw that out tonight because that was in my mind. But that's the indication I had when it came to some of the things that caused me to look at the Buckeye Police Department with a pause. Yeah, thanks so much. I want to put this up real quick. I thank you so much for putting that up there. Yes, I hope so. I hope so. And I really hope so. I'm anticipating I will win my election. I will be in the U.S. Congress, and I really feel that I will be making a difference for not just for missing Americans, but for the constituents in my state, and also for this country. Because you know what, and I'm going to go political because I'm going to have you guys can follow me, and I will be starting tomorrow. I will be starting my campaign stuff because I did my town hall last night, and I'll be talking about that tomorrow. But what I'm saying is, I really feel that I need to stand up for democracy, and I have to, because I'm a veteran, and that's who I am. I have battle buddies that gave the ultimate sacrifice. I almost did myself, and just the fact that you cannot fight against what you fought for. I'm a person who raised my right hand, and it's a life thing. It's not just because I'm retired. It's an end thing. So that's the way I feel. But anyway, let me see here. It took 2 years to find my friend of mine, MSO. Maricopa County Sheriff's Office has still not gotten justice. Her remains were found. I'm sorry, and my condolences to you and the family. I know all about this. Be strong and stay on them. Yes. Excuse me, you guys. Yes, definitely have to stay strong and keep fighting. I'm sorry you're going through that, Jamie, and I'm sorry the family's going through that as well. That can't be easy at all. Not having those answers and stuff. So praying for you too. And I'm getting off you guys. See, I'm losing my voice. I want to get everything. I truly appreciate it. Let this all go. But again, the last lead, I know being for an hour and 32 minutes now, longer than 30 minutes. My daughter probably like, what's going on? What next is to keep on fighting, D-Lucky, keep on fighting, keep on advocating for justice in my son's case. And I really need you guys' help at times, you guys. I will be back and forth in Arizona to engage with law enforcement, make sure they're doing exactly what we're doing. I have nothing left, you guys. When I say I have nothing left, I gave them what they should have had in the first place. I should never had those things in the first place. There should have been an evidence locker. It should have been processed properly, all the stuff. But I had to stay on top of them to make sure they're actually doing what they promised me they're doing when I transfer those things over to them. What they promised me is what they should be doing, and I will do everything I can to make sure that happens. I see that. Thanks, I am Batia. Thanks so much. I see you there, the strongest man I know. Thanks so much, and I know you personally, so thanks so much. I really appreciate it for that love and support. And let's see. Yeah, Chief Hall. I agree with you. One person. Yeah, Chief Hall needed to be investigated, but he quit. He quit. I can say a lot about this guy that can really blow some things for him, but I'm going to leave it at that. But yes, I'm glad he quit. He needed to quit. He's been caught cheating and falsifying crime statistics, documents, and things like that. So you got a chief like that. You can't trust anything they do. Interesting lead. I'm confused on if Daniel's phone ding that morning where his car was found, and that's the reason why I'm running for Congress, Don. One of the reasons that caused me to push for Congress, that caused me to talk to the telecommunication company, work with the senators in Arizona, try to get some legislation for certain things. That's the obvious thing that families ask for. And they would say, there's a couple things. Not only just that, we had a thing called Uconnect. It's like an OnStar in Dan's vehicle. Buckeye Police Department botched that too. They claim that the first they tell me conflicting things. They further said, I think that was the honest part. They said that they couldn't get information from the Uconnect because it was malfunction or something to that effect. And when they talked to Uconnect said that the problem with that situation was that somebody either took the battery loose or they damaged the device itself, right? And that should have been a pause right there, but they didn't do that. They saying, oh, it just came out with all 0 grids. That was the next thing. They couldn't get any location on it, something to that effect. Then they claimed they went to get get their own account on it. They say, oh, he didn't have an account set up, and so they had to go put their own account on there, and they couldn't get no information. So it's a whole bunch of stuff with that. With the cell phone pings, I had I'm kind of reluctant to really kind of pause and putting this out in the public right now, but I can say like this: I have a lot of information that morning when Daniel was supposedly be out there, another person was already. It wasn't my son's vehicle. I mean, his cell phone, but another person was in that ravine area at the time that the Buckeye Police Department claiming that my son's vehicle was there, and it wasn't. And I'm telling you something, they basing it on a app that I found on Dan's phone after they gave it to me, and I gave it to Biffin, and the owners that told me not to use that as Buckeye Police Department shouldn't use that as facts because their device, their app is not accurate. But they hanging their head on the fact of a thing called a MyIQ app, and this thing is saying that vehicle's there in the ravine based on the app, right? And so and despite of the eyewitness account, and despite of the fact they did a search of that area search, and the vehicle's blue. There's no blue cactus out there, sky blue type vehicle. So long story short, there was a information I can't get from telecommunication company that I have an issue with when it comes to cell phone pings. Detective, they will not get go look for it because they say you have to have a warrant. That's the Buckeye Police Department. So what I'm saying is that phone itself, I can tell you the phone was ringing. The phone was ringing all the way up to that night in Arizona. When I say ringing, that means it was hitting some tower, right? It wasn't going, the phone is dead, they go straight to voicemail. You call it, straight to voicemail. Other person unavailable, whatever the case may be, voicemail. It was ringing. And we as a family was calling Daniel's phone back to back for hours until the phone died. Later on night, that's when it started going to straight to voicemail. So again, it was actually activated and actually working. So the information is there, but they're just not wanting to get it. I'm stuck without getting the information. And like I told the telecommunication company, I'm coming in through your back door. They didn't know what it mean in that meeting I had with them. But I told them I'm coming through their back door, meaning I'm running for Congress, and I'm going to find ways to get that data. Data do not disappear for anybody who's out there listening. Your data don't ever disappear. Everybody know anything you do, it don't actually disappear. I told a guy, he's a WANS guy. He explained a lot of stuff to me. When you Freeman on your phone, you say, I'm delete something off my phone, it's still there. Unless you like literally burn the phone up, destroy it, it's still there, right? Only thing you do when you delete something on your phone or delete something anywhere, it's a hook. It's like the bridge. Like let's say you have a bridge from your keyboard to this information, right? When you push that delete button, delete it away, you just deleting the bridge. In other words, destroying that bridge to get to it. So if investigators, anybody want to get to that data, they can. Telecommunication want to get to that data, they can. It's there. They just got to create a new bridge, in a sense, a new hook, right, to get to that information. The information is always there. It never goes away. So what I'm saying is it's like that. And these people are refusing to give information that belongs to citizens. T-Mobile don't own your information. Sprint don't own your information. Whoever's still there. Someone don't know, they kind of merged, but AT&T don't own your information. Your cable company don't own your information. You pay those monthly bills. That is your data, your information, and they're holding those things back from you. So, and I get it. They hide behind privacy policies. All of them had their privacy policy, and then they have these things. Oh, we don't want to give it because we do this. Somebody go kill somebody. Some crazy stuff they talk. So I told them I'm coming through their back door, and I got ways of doing that. But that's why I'm really pushing hard to win this election next year, so I can craft some stuff and try to get some co-sign on legislation to change some stuff, put some stuff together for families. But the thing is, again, that is there. That the cell phone pings is still there. That's data that can help me find out what happened that morning to get some real answers. It's still there, and I'm going to go through that back door and get it. So the point is, I'm saying, you guys, and not just for Daniel, for all missing Americans out there, things that belongs to people, right? Information. The cell phone that Daniel had, that was my daughter's cell phone. When I say it's her account, so that's another part of that piece of that puzzle. But anyway, let me see what it got here. But thanks so much for that question. Let me jump off, you guys. Thanks so much again. I keep saying it. I really get into this, and I really like to. Let me see. Yes, Alpheus. Do you need any help on the administrative side? I reached out and I wanted to join search out there signing up, but I never got an email with instructions. Being that I'm coming from California, I needed more information before making the trip. And I want to apologize for that for anybody who been having a hard time getting in contact. I do a lot of things on my own. I can't tell you that I don't have a really huge team of people and things like that. So a lot of times, in a lot of instances, I'm just like one man show, right? So when I say I'm a one man show, I do a whole lot. I have people in the background say, "How you do all these things at one time?" It's God, right? And I try to be efficient as I can. But if I miss you, I apologize, and I will look for your name again. Go through those things and see if I can get in contact. So I'll be looking for that. And I apologize for not being able to get back to you. But yes, I need all the help I can. And if you want to help, please do so. Utilize the number you see on the bottom too. If you can, send a text and put your name there again and tell me exactly what you were talking about here, and so I can remember. That's a public cell phone. I can't tell you guys. And if a lot of times people say you're slow in responding to that, yes, I am. I get a lot on that. It's a combination between things I do on the campaign side. So like I said, again, it's a one man show type deal. So I had to go through a lot of stuff, and so I try to get to it as fast as I can. And I think you had one more thing you had on here. So Daniel's case now being investigated as a homicide by Buckeye. No, they haven't committed to that yet. I couldn't get them to commit to that yet. But some of the things they would be doing, it would be treated like that. So in other words, going back over old the stuff that's already been done, also the new things that should be done or things that should have been done already. So those type things would yield new leads in the case, and I'm confident it would come to the conclusion that I've been trying to tell them the whole time along. It is some type of foul play in my son's case, and they just didn't want to look for it. They weren't willing to actually look for it because everything I know about my son is not like what Detective Biffin told me. Maybe he just want to be away from his family, join a monastery, and become a monk. My son don't want to be a monk. He probably don't even know what a monk is or what it does, what it's about. And because this guy said this to me, I remember taking my time and my resources to go out looking for monasteries. Believe it or not, you guys, I'm very efficient that way. I didn't believe it, of course, but because this guy said that to me, I had to go look. I had to look and see those monasteries. And like I said, when I made that search, it's based on all that stuff. I had to go look for one that's reasonable to say he could have walked to it or drove to it, whatever case may be. And I found one, believe it or not, out there in that desert. You had to go back on I-10 and go 2 S's up and then go across. It's not in walking distance, I can tell you that. And it's very mainly because of the aqueducts, the canal that's there, probably impossible to really drive there. So from that point where the vehicle's found. So what I'm saying is, I had to go there and it was closed for a while because of COVID. And it's that kind of stuff. So yeah. All right. The desert do have many secrets. Kizzy. Let's see. That's it. I'm sorry, you guys. I see some in the comments. Some more probably questions. But I would promise you guys, I'll come back. Please save your questions. I will have another live stream again, and that would be just specifically for questions and things like that. So if you have those, come back again, and I will answer questions. But I'm about to jump off now. It's getting late, and hope you guys have a wonderful night. Again, if you guys want to hang in here, you want to watch this 20-minute news articles, and then also the Dateline at the end, you can. I'm just gonna let it run, and then at the end, this live will be done for the night. Just want to say thank you again. All my love to you. And the last thing I always say every time is, if you have some beef, I like to say with your family member, it's okay to be angry with people at times and frustrated with them. But if you know you love a person, just simply just tell them that you love them, despite of the argument, despite of whatever. Because for me and my family, we have to listen to old voicemails. And my fear is, just like I had to get rid of Daniel Things the other day. I got pause when I say that. To not to remember his voice. I know certain things Daniel say and how he said that I miss, and then I have this movement, his body movements. There's certain things about him, and you'll miss those things if it's gone, right? It's just like a person pass away and you don't have those things anymore and it start fading away with them. The difference is when you have missed a loved one, you always every day hope and wish that it's a possibility for you to see this person again. So it's always there in your mind that you're gonna find your loved one alive, they'll come back or something to that effect. But until then, like I said, just make sure I'll sit on my porch and enjoy my area. And I got a phone call and it changed our life. I had never been able to talk to Daniel again. I talked to him 2 days before he went missing. That's the last time I ever heard from him. And from that point, the last time I was able to tell him I love him and he tell me he loved me. And so that was the last time we was able to do that with each other. And here it is going on 4 years. So like I said, if you have to have beef or anything with your family member, it's easy to say, you know what, I'm not going to talk to you right now. I can't. I'm mad or whatever the case may be, but I love you. But, we just need some time or whatever the case may be. Let the person know that you love them and let them, like I said, let them know that you love them, and hopefully they'll say it back to you too. But anyway, take care of yourselves, you guys. I'm going to, play this video, and I guess we'll go from there. All right, take care. And you guys have yourself a wonderful night.
Renewed efforts in trying to find a missing man who was last seen nearly 4 years ago. We're talking about 24-year-old Daniel Robinson. He was last seen June 23rd in the desert near Buckeye.
12 News journalist Jade Cunningham has more on the search that's taking place tomorrow and how you can help.
Yeah, good morning. It's been an extremely difficult 4 years for Daniel Robinson's family, and they are hoping that the community will come out tomorrow and help them find any bit of information about their son. Daniel, who was a geologist, was 24 years old when he was last seen. He was leaving a work site in the desert in his Jeep Renegade on June 23rd. His car was found about 3 miles from that work site, abandoned in a ravine. Officials found his wallet, phone, keys, clothes inside the car, but no sign of Daniel. Law enforcement initially ruled out foul play, but his father, David, believes there is absolutely something suspicious about his son's disappearance. There have been multiple search efforts over the years. David also has hired a private investigator. He is leaving no stone unturned to try and find out what happened to his son. This journey, though, has had its frustrations. David has spoken out before about how he feels police haven't been aggressive enough in their investigation and search efforts. He also feels his son's disappearance hasn't been as widely publicized by the media as other cases like Gabby Petito's, who went missing around the same time as Daniel. There was a national spotlight on that case as authorities spent days trying to find her and then her fiance, who is believed to have killed her. Petito's father, Joseph, agrees, telling CNN a few months ago that not only is he trying to raise awareness about missing people, but he has also made it his mission to help advocate for families and groups of missing Black and brown people. And he will be at tomorrow's search. A safety briefing will be held before tomorrow's event event at 6:45 a.m. The area will be at Sun Valley Parkway and Rosewood Avenue in Buckeye. Law enforcement and Arizona Rangers will be there as well, assisting and searching in particular areas. Again, anyone who is interested is welcome. You have to sign up for this event. You can do so by going online to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. And then anyone with any information about this case is encouraged to reach out to Silent Witness at 480-WITNESS. Reporting live, Jay Cunningham, 12 News Today.
The volunteers scoured the desert north of Buckeye this morning in search of a young scientist missing since June 2021. This search now the 50th time the family of Daniel Robinson have set out to find closure. For nearly 4 years, it's been one of the most bewildering missing persons cases in the Valley.
It's like day one every time I have to come out here. Of course, being a parent, it's always that way.
The desert area west of Sun Valley Parkway in Buckeye is one David Robinson knows all too well. It's where his son, 24-year-old Daniel Robinson, disappeared. Days after he was last seen, his Jeep was found overturned not far from his work site. Some of his belongings were found inside, but Daniel was nowhere to be found.
I know I have to do this because I want to bring my son home. He has a mother, he has siblings, and, we want to bring him home.
Saturday marked the 50th time a group of volunteers set out in search of him. Many have heard his family's pleas for help over the years, compelling them to show up.
I mean, I'm a mother, and if my son was missing, I would hope that people would show up and help me search for them. And, seeing Daniel's father talk about his son and everything that he's done to continue the search for him, it's really inspiring.
These volunteers joined by members of the Arizona Rangers and Buckeye Police Department. The latest search based on new leads in his case, specifically information from a witness who remembers seeing Daniel walk out of a ravine in the area. But more than anything, it's the outpouring of support from all walks of the valley that help keep Daniel's family hopeful.
It's the community. It's the people that shows love, no matter where we're from. They all came here to help me, a father looking for a son.
And Daniel's family is doing all they can, including these repeated searches, to do everything they can to prevent his case from becoming a cold case, even enlisting the help from another parent who unfortunately knows the pain of having a child go missing. Joseph Petito, father of 22-year-old Gabby Petito, who went missing in June of 2022, and whose case also went national. He joined in a search yesterday for Daniel. Now, if you have tips on what happened to him or know where Daniel is, you are urged to contact the Buckeye Police Department.
I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart.
This is David Robinson addressing the crowd of volunteers here to help him look for his son, Daniel.
And we're definitely trying to make sure we are covering these areas where we have these leads that can hopefully yield some results.
Many of the volunteers have searched with David before, hoping this time the search will lead to closure.
I hope that David can get some answers, whatever that is for him. Just out here to support him in any way that we can.
Nearly 4 years after Daniel's disappearance, the searches now are different than when they first started.
We're not out here looking for Daniel running around, but we're looking for a remainder.
So the search resumes. Volunteers line up in the desert and start to walk.
And when search volunteers find something unusual here in the desert, like this bone, they mark it with a flag, take a picture, and document its location so it can be investigated by law enforcement.
And on this search, many flags are planted in the ground. Also here in Arizona, helping with the effort,
he said, be diligent, be safe, and thank you all,
is Joe Petito, Gabby Petito's dad. Her missing persons and subsequent murder case gained national attention in 2021. He's now trying to bring more attention to the over 25,000 missing persons cases right now in the U.S.
It's the worst uncontrollable feeling you can imagine. I don't wish it on anybody, and that's why we're all out here today, trying to make sure that we can get answers for David and Daniel.
As for what comes next, we'll continue to keep you updated on what, if anything, law enforcement finds with these sites found by desert volunteers. If you would like to help the search for Daniel, you can go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. Links to resources are also on abc15.com. Adam Klepp, ABC 15 Arizona.
4 years ago, the world was captivated in asking the question, where is Gabby Petito? The 22-year-old had gone missing during a van trip with her fiancé.
It was ultimately learned that he had killed her. Now her family is on a mission to help others with missing loved ones.
12 News journalist Bianca Bono spoke with Gabby's father today. Bianca, what brought him here?
Well, Joseph Petito is here to help David Robinson, the father of Daniel Robinson, who disappeared in Buckeye in June of 2021, the same month that Gabby Petito left on that van trip that she would never return from. Joseph Petito talked about the massive amount of attention and coverage his daughter's case garnered from all corners of the globe, and how that worldwide concern is part of why he believes his family has answers. He says every missing persons case deserves that same amount of attention, which is part of why his family started the Gabby Petito Foundation. In addition to supporting victims of domestic violence, they also travel around the country to support families who have missing loved ones. He will be searching in the desert tomorrow morning alongside David Robinson, doing whatever he can to help.
Whatever you feel or believe happened to Daniel, whether he's still here or not, David doesn't have those answers yet. So he hasn't started the grieving process if it needed to be started. Having those answers will help you start that process. It amazes me the strength of families on how they can keep searching, because we only did it for a few weeks, and the amount of mental and emotional drain it has on people. You don't understand it unless you're in it.
And Daniel Robinson is a geologist. He was last seen leaving his job site in the desert near Buckeye. A month later, his Jeep was found overturned less than 3 miles from that job site, but there was no sign of the then 24-year-old. The search for Daniel is happening tomorrow morning at 6:45 in Buckeye. It'll be at Sun Valley Parkway and West Rosewood Avenue. Volunteers are encouraged to show up. We will have much more on this story and from our interview coming up tonight on 12 News at 10. We're live in studio. Bianca Bono, 12 News.
But first, a new twist in the search for Daniel Robinson, the valley geologist who went missing in the Far West Valley in 2021.
His father has organized numerous efforts to find what happened to his son. But today, David Robinson had help from another father who experienced great loss, Gabby Petito's dad. Fox 10's Nicole Christine joins us live. Nicole, what can you tell us about this effort this morning?
Well, Brian and Ashley, overall, just a sad story as the Robinson family continues to search for answers. Joseph Petito saying he understands the pain he sees in David Robinson, but says that he got answers in Gabby's disappearance just a few weeks after she went missing. Meanwhile, David Robinson has been searching for answers for nearly 4 years. Overall, it's a pain that Joseph says he wishes on no parent. Nearly 4 years after 24-year-old Daniel Robinson disappeared near a work site in Buckeye, his father, David, still holds out hope.
I'm his father, so I'm going to be here always to make sure that I'm continuing to fight and advocate for him and find the justice that he deserves.
Roughly 50 volunteers showed up this morning near Sun Valley Parkway and Rosewood Avenue in Buckeye as part of a 3-part search.
This is the line search that I just mentioned. We have the Buckeye Police Department on the ground to search a specific location that's based on a tip, and as well as we have the Arizona Rangers working out west for the search.
Among the volunteers, Joseph Petito, the father of Gabby Petito, whose case dominated national headlines after she went missing in August 2021 while traveling across the country with her fiancé, Brian Laundrie. Gabby's remains were later found in Wyoming, and it's believed she was killed by Laundrie, who then reportedly died by suicide in Florida.
Just inspirational. The amount of energy it takes to do what he does with the heartache and the unknowingness that goes on every day. It really was David. I've been telling him for years I want to get out there.
Joseph Petito says he's been wanting to join the search for Daniel for a while after seeing the strength and devotion David has.
I saw this one coming up. I'm like, I don't care what the schedule is. I'm coming for you, buddy.
The two fathers burdened by loss unimaginable for any parent. Joseph hoping for a different ending for the Robinsons than the one his family got, but overall also just hoping they get answers.
There's never going to be closure on the death of a child, but there is starting the grieving process properly. And David hasn't been able to do that yet. You know, hopefully Daniel's found safe, but if the worst does come true, that's when that grieving process will start for him and his family.
David, meanwhile, continuing his relentless plans to bring Daniel home.
I look at this 50th search as possibly being one of the latter searches that I have out in the desert. What I'm trying to do is collect information, wait to the Buckeye Police Department, who is now checking a lot of the forensics work, and we can do some more work to see if it's feasible for us to come back out here in the desert, and if so, what area we need to approach next.
Both of these men just beautiful examples of the depth of a father's love. Now, if you have any information of the disappearance of Daniel Robinson, you're asked to contact Buckeye Police Department. Reporting live tonight in Buckeye, Nicole Christine, Fox 10 News.
Okay, Nicole, thanks. We certainly wish them the best.
Nearly 5 years since Daniel Robinson disappeared. The young geologist was last seen leaving a work site in the desert near Buckeye. Since then, his father has been desperately searching for his son. And tomorrow, he'll be there for another organized search.
This time, he will be joined by another parent who unfortunately knows the pain of having a child go missing. 12 News journalist Bianca Bono reports.
Gabby Petito never goes outside.
You're never going to heal from the death of a child.
It was a case that captivated the country.
That's just never going to happen.
22-year-old Gabby Petito, a beautiful and free-spirited young aspiring vlogger. In June of 2021, she would set out on a van adventure with her then fiancé, Brian Laundrie.
What I think people did was they saw themselves as Gabby.
Her father, Joseph Petito, reflects.
So many people are victims of domestic violence in one way, shape, or form. And I guess they identified with what she was going through.
That same month in Arizona, a 24-year-old geologist named Daniel Robinson was last seen leaving his job site in the desert near Buckeye.
When someone goes missing, the amount of heartache, anger, the unknowing, uncontrollable type of sense that you get is difficult to kind of focus your attention.
Gabby was last heard from in late August, and in September, her body was found. Laundrie had killed her. The news reverberating across the nation. And 4 years later, her father says while closure may never come, his family has answers. Something Daniel Robinson's family is still searching for.
It hurts to see that he's still going through it, where we were able to bring Gabby home.
Through the Gabby Petito Foundation, her family members are working to support others with missing loved ones. It's why Petito is here in Arizona this weekend to help Daniel Robinson's father search for his son.
Daniel's a story that needs to be told because he needs to be found. He needs to be brought home, at the very least, to help David get some answers and his family get some answers.
In July of 2021, Daniel's blue Jeep Renegade was found rolled over in a ravine less than 3 miles from his job site, but no sign of Daniel. The FBI has since been briefed on the case.
He probably sees, every time he sees a Jeep Renegade that's remotely the same color, or someone walking with their back to him, he might want to tap him on the shoulder just to see if it's Daniel. I know I went through that.
He'll be joining Daniel's father, David, in the desert Saturday morning for an organized search, looking for any clues that can help lead them to Daniel and be a support system for a fellow father who is now in his shoes.
If anybody's watching, they get some free time, it'd be a great time to do it because David deserves it and Daniel needs to be found.
I was just noticing your tattoos.
Nearly 4 years later.
So Gabby had this one. And then Gabby had this one.
Gabby is with Joseph every day.
I was hurting, but not physically hurting. So I needed to feel the physical pain.
Keeping her memory alive in his family's mission to bring missing people home.
Curious what Gabby would think about what you are doing to now help other families.
I hope she sees, that we're making her proud. I hope she's happy that we're doing this for her, in her name, in her honor. There's no person out there that's missing that doesn't deserve the same attention.
And if you want to help in that search for Daniel, it is happening Saturday morning at 6:45 in Buckeye. Police will also be there with dogs, drones, and personnel. You can watch my full interview with Joseph Petito right now on 12+. We're in the newsroom. Bianca Bono, 12 News.
Incredibly strong people, and they really have found so much respect for one another and also comfort in one another. Both Daniel Robinson and Gabby Petito's cases have garnered international attention, but Gabby's family was able to lay her to rest. Daniel's father still has no idea where his son is, and Gabby's father hopes to help change that.
Nearly 4 years and dozens of searches for geologist Daniel Robinson, who disappeared in the Arizona desert. His father, David, fighting for answers, finding solace in someone who's walked in his shoes.
Nobody understands, probably more than your family, what it's like to also have a missing child. What got you involved in Daniel's case?
I had heard some stories, people had sent stories about Daniel's case to me almost 4 years ago, and I saw this one come up. I'm like, I'm going to be there, David. I'm no matter what.
Joe Petito is Gabby Petito's dad. Gabby disappeared in 2021 on a cross-country vlogging road trip with her fiancé, found dead weeks later. Her fiancé took his own life after confessing to killing her. At the time Gabby went missing, Daniel Robinson had only been missing for a few months. He was last seen leaving a work site in June of 2021. His Jeep was found crashed weeks later. David Robinson has led countless searches and social media campaigns, but Daniel still hasn't been found.
I was in the storage unit just before I came here to let things go. I had to do it before. And there's always that thing of not knowing what to keep and what to let go.
Newfound hope after new leads, though. David says the location of Saturday morning's search is based off new leads from a witness who says they saw Daniel walk out of the ravine. And now the Buckeye Police Department is doing forensic testing on all of Daniel's belongings, something David has wanted for years.
So we had did a custody change yesterday. They took all possession of everything, and they're going to do a full workup to see if we can come up with new leads in Daniel's case.
The Petito family has been to Arizona many times in the last 6 months as they expand their advocacy efforts for missing persons, hoping everyone gets the same spotlight Gabby did.
When it comes to Daniel's story, Emily Pike, Chelsea Grimm, there's a lot of stories out here, the MMIW, the MMIP. There's so much when it comes to missing people that we can do, and that's why we've been out here.
What does that mean to you from one father to another?
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. We didn't ask to be a part of the family. This thing happened to both our families. So of course I know Mr. Petito, Joseph, he knows exactly what I'm feeling. At the time you have a missing loved one, but I can't say it means a lot to me.
They'd love to have volunteers at tomorrow's search for Daniel. It's at 6:45 a.m. at Sun Valley Parkway and West Rosewood Avenue in Buckeye. We have that information on our azfamily.com as well.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate link that bonds these families together. Brianna, I think, can you re-highlight the importance of the forensics in this case? Because this stuff is being tested for the first time?
So there's been some testing done, and it was confusing at the time because Buckeye Police did their own investigation, but then David Robinson took it upon himself to also hire a private investigator and a team to test those things as well. So he's had them for a while, but we knew that there were kind of concerning, questionable messages and texts that were on Daniel's phone at one point. They're looking at his computer. They're retesting all sorts of different things that they just may not have looked more in depth at before. And of course, sometimes those can be the smoking gun of any sort of information. But he also knows it's boots on the ground for Daniel Robinson. Getting out there, if they get a tip, go search the desert. I think people think he went missing. He was last seen alive in one place at his work site, right? But the desert is so vast. He really could be anywhere over there.
I know, and finding his vehicle, his clothes, it's just we need to find him for this family.
Right.
Hopefully we'll get some answers.
Yeah.
I'm reporter Bianca Bono. You're about to watch our interview with Joseph Petito, the father of Gabby Petito. She's the young woman who was tragically murdered back in 2021. Her case captivated the country, and now her family has started the Gabby Petito Foundation. Their mission is to help other families that have missing loved ones and do whatever they can to help bring those loved ones back home.
Your name is going to be familiar to probably everyone that sees this story, but tell me what brought you out here to Arizona.
David. David and I have been, friends now for a few years, since probably late 2021, early 2022, with his son Daniel and his story, and then he went missing June 23rd. I've always wanted to come out and help him. With the foundation, it kind of made it difficult. And I saw that this one was coming up, and I was like, I have to be there. So we did. We made that happen.
I think one thing that has struck me in looking back at both your daughter's case and Daniel's case is that Daniel was last seen in June of 2021, and that was the same time that Gabby was going on her trip, and soon after your family would frankly be going through hell. What do you make of the fact that on two separate sides of the country, two families were both going to be searching for their kids.
So when someone goes missing, the amount of heartache, anger, the unknowing, uncontrollable type of sense that you get is difficult to kind of focus your attention, and David's done a tremendous job doing that. It hurts to see that he's still going through it, where we were able to bring Gabby home. The reason I'm here is to try and bring up as much attention for David and Daniel's story, to hopefully get some answers. Like that's the goal of the search tomorrow. And if anybody's watching, they got some free time, they want to come on down to help. Listen, if you want to do a hike in the morning, it'd be a great time to do it, because David deserves it and Daniel needs to be found.
You pointed out David is still going through this all these years later. That period of time when you and your family didn't know where your daughter was or what had happened to her, how can you even put that into words in terms of what you were going through as a parent?
There aren't words I don't have the articulation or the vocabulary to tell you what that's like. What I can say is that David's been doing that now for just about 4 years, and I can't even begin to fathom the type of strength that takes to do it for that long. He probably sees, every time he sees a Jeep Renegade that's remotely the same color, or someone walking with their back to him, he might want to tap him on the shoulder just to see if it's Daniel. I know I went through that, and I can't imagine the strength it takes to do it for that long. We only did it for a couple weeks, and it's just, it kills me to see that he's still going through it. It hurts, I'll tell you that. It really does.
Oftentimes when we cover these heinous cases, it feels like closure never comes. It doesn't exist. Have you found closure, or is that something that you are still working through?
No, I haven't found it. It is my opinion that you don't get closure from the death of a child. That pain will always be there. I think it becomes more manageable at that point. Does it become any less? People like it eases over time. No. It's kind of the reasons why we do what we do now, because it helps kind of make sense of it, if that makes sense. Maybe in the long run I can help, with all the stuff that we've done, like, okay, maybe this was the reason, but until then, no, I do it so I don't go down that dark path, and because it's really easy that you can go down that rabbit hole, and I just don't want that to happen to me, my family, or David and his family. So the support is important. I have it, and I'm going to be supporting David and Daniel just the same. You
and your family, given everything that you have gone through, you have shown so much grace and strength and compassion, and now finding the time to help others that are in the same position that you were once in. How have you found the strength to do this?
We find it easy because we've had so much support from the outside, friends, people, strangers we don't know. I mean, you saw what happened with Gabby's story, how far it went, and now what we're doing, our focus is to really help those, people in any way, shape, or form that we can. I can appreciate, you saying, those kind words. We see it as just being a nicer person, to be honest with you. It's really that simple. I hate to say it like that, but it really is.
What has motivated you to help bring attention to cases that haven't gotten the same attention that your daughter's case did?
So with Gabby's case, her case really took off after that Moab video came out. And what I think people did was they saw themselves as Gabby, because so many people are victims of domestic violence in one way, shape, or form. And I guess they identified with what she was going through, and I think that was part of the reasons why it went so far. Now, when it comes to other missing stories, listen, you want to put race or gender or anything else, in terms of the reason, Listen, there's validity to those arguments, but we know that some stories aren't getting the right attention. And what we want to do is just bring them to light and let others share them. There are so many reasons you can put it onto it, but at the end of the day, this is the problem. This is what we can do to fix that issue. And so let's do that. You know, share the stories. It's literally 2 taps of a thumb, especially on social media. It shouldn't be difficult to do. I don't know why it's not happening, but hopefully we'll lead by example. We'll share stories. People will share stories. And hopefully you guys will be able to play.
Let's talk about the Gabby Petito Foundation and how you guys came up with the idea to start this.
The idea was simple, to help people. You know, really, Nikki says, listen, this was something I want to start doing. And we were like, yeah, let's do that. And we're very lucky that there's 4 of us. Because if it was just 2 of us, we couldn't do all the work. We really have our own niche of what we do when it comes to the foundation. So that's very beneficial when it comes to that respect. But the reason why we're here is to help, again, missing person stories. And Daniel's a story that needs to be told because he needs to be found. He needs to be brought home, you know, at the very least to help David get some answers and his family get some answers. We saw a lot of the shortcomings when it comes to domestic violence, when it comes to missing people, how they're handled, you know, either through the media or with law enforcement. And really, we're not trying to reinvent wheels here. We're looking for best practices that people use around the country or around the planet and try to bring them to our legislators and say, listen, here's a great thing that could be done in order to combat this. You know, why don't we focus on some stuff like that? And that's what we're doing.
Given what you went through and what David has been going through, it feels like it's this club that no one wants to be part of, and only someone that has gone through that can truly understand what it feels like to be in that position.
What I can tell you is the conversations that I have with families, they like to talk to someone who does understand, because there's emotions and there's feelings that you can't articulate. So when someone tells me their story, I don't have to sit there and tell them that I understand. They know it from the anguish that they see in my face, or from, you know, they say the eyes are the window to the soul. They can look into my eyes as they're telling me this story. And I think they know that I do understand on the level that they're talking about. So I do find that to probably be helpful. I don't know for sure. What I can tell you is that I'm going to be there and try and help them as long as they want it. And if they don't, I understand that as well, and I will simply back away. And like the reason I talked to David this morning, and like I said, I'm going to be your tool. You tell me where you want me, you point me in a direction. That's what I'm doing. Whether you want me searching, whether you want me over here, it doesn't matter. I'm here for you, and the reason I'm talking to you today.
Let's talk about the search tomorrow. You mentioned you're here to essentially do whatever David needs. Can you talk to me a little bit about the game plan tomorrow and what the community should know about the efforts that are happening and how they can get involved?
Literally, we just need help doing a grid search. You know, so if, like I said, if you want to go for a hike in the morning, or you want to help volunteer, or if you're just looking to do your Good Samaritan for the day, come on down, 6:45. The strength it takes for David to do these over and over, I don't know, again, how he does it. I know that I couldn't do it, and he's doing it, you know, just on his own from what I see. And I know he's got the support of his family and stuff, and that's amazing. It's just crazy that he has to do these on his own, you know, and that's why we're here. And if there's anybody that's watching that wants to help, and please, we can use all the help we can get.
It's hard for me to even wrap my mind around the fact that he doesn't have answers all of these years later. How important is it in a healing process to have answers in a situation like this?
So there's a thing that I say. It's start the grieving process properly. Because whatever you feel or believe happened to Daniel, whether he's still here or not, David doesn't have those answers yet. So he hasn't started the grieving process if it needed to be started. And having those answers will help you start that process. Right now, he's just in a holding pattern. And like I said, that strength that it takes to get there, the way he's been holding for such a long period, for years, as well as other families, you know, for years, Chelsea Grimm, Holloway, I mean, we can name the list, Cody Bigsby, I mean, we can go down this line, right? It amazes me the strength that families on how they can keep searching, because we only did it for a few weeks, and the amount of mental and emotional drain it has on people. That's one of the reasons why I'm here, because he's such an amazing and inspirational story that he keeps on doing this, and I just want to be a part of that and let people know that, listen, we're in this together. Together we can, and together is how we're going to get the answers.
I'm curious, what would Gabby think about the efforts that you guys are making to help other families?
She'd probably laugh. Like, why are you doing this in my name? You know what I mean? I hope we're making her proud. You know, I hope we're doing her, you know, making her happy that we're doing this. And I hope she sees, you know, that we're making her proud. I hope she's happy that we're doing this for her, in her name, in her honor. She'd probably say that you guys are, you know, being ridiculous, you know, but that was her. So she was very much into trying to help people, and I guess that's where she learned it from. I have no idea. You're never going to heal from the death of a child. That's just never going to happen. But again, it becomes tolerable, manageable, you know, and if people could take her story and Daniel's story and whatever and learn from it and try to find ways to help others, maybe it can help make sense of it. There's no person out there that's missing that doesn't deserve the same attention.
Dawn in the desert, a clear and chilly November morning. We are near the city of Buckeye, Arizona, where a caravan of cars is arriving, carrying volunteers. For the next several hours, they will comb this unforgiving landscape, looking for a young man who's been missing since June of 2021. His name, Daniel Robinson. And leading the search, not law enforcement, but Daniel's father, David.
Where is everybody located?
For 9 painful months, Robinson and his team of volunteers, people he now calls family,
This is my family.
have been desperately trying to find any trace of his son.
He's a very bright, intelligent geologist. Anything that Daniel wanted to do, he would do it. He's born without a right hand, but he found ways to master anything that he wanted to do. You know, he's a geologist. Of course, Arizona is the ideal place.
In June 2021, Daniel had just begun a job doing field work at a desert well site. He'd always kept in close touch with his family back home in South Carolina. But around this time, Daniel suddenly stopped calling.
I tried to call his phone constantly. He wasn't answering.
In fact, the whole family tried calling Daniel. Nothing. His sister in Arizona checked his apartment. No one there.
I was worried. I didn't want to panic because I didn't want my children to panic, so that's when I decided to call the Buckeye Police Department.
The Buckeye PD is a small one with barely more than 100 officers. Nevertheless, they began investigating by first checking the area where Daniel was reportedly working. Nothing turned up. 2 days later, David Robinson, desperate for answers, felt he had to take matters into his own hands.
I just grabbed everything I had, threw it in my vehicle, and just started driving. And I made it here. I came straight through, left South Carolina, came straight to Arizona.
Some 45 hours later, David arrived in this daunting desert, exhausted, but in a panic. His son was out here somewhere, all alone, facing 3-digit heat, rattlesnakes, and not a soul or building in sight. So on his own, David started searching and soon made his way to the well site where his son was last seen.
This is where it all began. This is where the whole narrative started. My son drove off into the desert and vanished, maybe from here.
David then met with a witness, a co-worker of his son's, who said he saw Daniel at the well the day he disappeared.
He did tell me that my son seemed like he was looking out into space somewhere, looking out into the desert terrain, kind of staring off, and was acting really quiet. And then he told me my son just kind of waved off to him, got in his vehicle, and drove off.
Where he went and what exactly happened next, no one seems to know. Soon after that meeting, David began recruiting volunteers to help him search the sprawling Sonoran Desert. Every Saturday for the next few weeks, they scoured this barren, treacherous landscape. They have not found Daniel. Then in July 2021, a break, a big one. A local rancher found Daniel's Jeep rolled over in a remote ravine.
When I first saw that crash site, I was really devastated. This place I had to go to and see for myself.
The airbags had deployed. The sunroof looked as if it had been kicked open, perhaps used as an escape route. And this was odd. Outside the Jeep were what appeared to be Daniel's clothes and work boots, his wallet still in his blue jeans. Inside the vehicle was his college ID, laptop, keys, cell phone, and plenty of bottled water. To help make sense of this mystery, David hired private investigator Jeff McGrath, an expert at reconstructing accidents. He has a theory of what might have happened.
There was nothing along this route that the vehicle took into that bottom ravine that matched the damage. It's telling me the vehicle was probably crashed somewhere else. Either moved here or it was continued to be driven, and this was its final stop. Whether somebody stole it in joyriding, whether Daniel was in it, but it tells me something happened somewhere else.
The Jeep has since been moved to a secured location for further analysis, but plenty of evidence still remains of the crash.
I don't believe it was enough to kill, no. The airbags had enough force to do some damage. They strike you in the face, and they come out with a lot of force, and it could cause a concussion, but there wasn't enough violence here in this crash to cause a lethal.
That suggests Daniel survived and was perhaps disoriented and maybe wandered aimlessly into the desert. Could this be other than accidental? Could foul play be involved in Daniel's disappearance? It's something McGrath and David have not ruled out. It's something police have examined too. To this point, there is no evidence of that. None at all. Whatever happened back in June of 2021 has David Robinson now bracing for the worst.
It's hard to say you're searching for your son walking around the desert with no clothing, no shoes. So I had to mentally put it in my head that I'm doing a recovery. So I need to go find every spot I can out here to rescue my son. He may be hurt, injured, somewhere stuck, whatever. I need to find my son. Yeah, I found something up here interesting.
David is hoping to get more attention, help, and resources from the Buckeye PD, which says this is still an ongoing investigation, although so far not a criminal one.
Okay, so we're still working this side.
He's also tried to enlist federal help. In the fall of 2021, the Buckeye PD briefed the FBI and asked for their assistance. The Bureau recently told us they're still assessing the case. So far, they have not gotten involved. So for now, David Robinson and his team of volunteers continue to search.
I really have faith that somehow God can bless that he's alive somewhere, and I hope so. I am not stopping. He's my son. He's my responsibility. He's a fighter. He never give up on anything. I definitely won't give up on him.